Welcome to the Bob and Tam Show today, tonight, tomorrow, whenever you're watching this. So we're actually in my editing room, which is / our Cardinal room, St. Louis Cardinals, also / a bedroom. So all across here, I've got a counter that we put in. It's actually like a kitchen counter we bought. I don't know if I ever showed that or not. Might have, but ain't going to be showing it tonight because we got very little equipment ready to go. We've got, you can see behind her is my equipment for taking to two bike fests that we're getting ready to go to. We're getting ready to head out on Tuesday. We're going to go up to Las Vegas, which is going to be a cool, balmy 99 degrees compared to 108, which we have today. And then we're going to get a plane about 6:45 in the morning on Southwest. I got a nonstop that's going to take us to Baltimore, Maryland. And we're going to get a rental car there. And then we're going to drive we're going to land about 4 or something in the afternoon. No, I don't know what time it is. Around 4, I think. I don't know. Maybe it's 2. I don't know. I'll have to look at my reservations and stuff and see. Land there. We get a rental car, drive into Ocean City, meet Ron, get us all situated, and then probably we'll go over to the convention center area there because we're right there by that, and kind of look around there. Might have some kind of video to come out on Wednesday, or maybe we'll just do a live and say, hey, we're here, show you what's out there, and that might be it. So let me get my other things all hooked up here. You can go ahead and rattle through all your names if you want.
There's a lot of people on. I guess I see Jeff's on and XM.
You get you a little mirror or whatever, like romper room.
Yeah. Was it Miss Lois?
I have no idea.
Plane. That wasn't. That was Superman.
I have no idea what that.
I think it was Miss Lois.
I wasn't a big romper room person.
I see Jeff and I see XM Biker. Whoa! I lost the other phone. It is not coming up on my phone. I don't know why.
What is this?
This is our live.
No, but what is this? Is it Facebook?
It's YouTube.
All right, then that makes a difference.
So anyway, so I am on. And I don't know where Janice is. I hope she's not caught in that circle where she can't get on and she's on, but she can't make comments like you guys were doing. I think it did it to Neil. I think it did it to Jeff. So I don't know. So that this way I can make comments on that phone. This one I can click on comments and you can see them. B-Rider's on, Neil's on, Mike's on, Wayne's on, David Eastwood's on, and then CBMA Flash is on. Mike and Greg McBee from Illinois. What part of Illinois, Greg? That's not the same Greg, I think, that got the new truck, I don't think. Sunny and 76, Mike says, up there in Minnesota. It's hot here.
108.
And the humidity's up, so that's what makes it worse. We don't like the humidity. So that was Romper Room. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Was her name Miss Lois? What was her name? I don't remember her name. 62 and it sucks. It was supposed to be down in Southern California. It's still pretty hot. They've been all over. Rod King's on, and from what I hear, it's still pretty hot in Southern California, in SoCal. Cardinal Nation. That's right. I'm a Cardinal fan.
All right. So in
New York State.
So our flight on Wednesday, we're going to leave Las Vegas at 6:40 in the morning. And we arrive in Baltimore at 2:15, and we lose 3 hours worth of time there.
It'll be like 5 something more time.
And no, it'd be earlier. Because it's earlier here, it's later there. So you have to back up. That's why it looks like it's taking us so long. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. It's taking us, looks like 7 hours, and it's really only a 4-hour flight.
I don't know.
So we lose that time.
How can we go to St. Louis and it's a 4-hour flight? And
they take the scenic route through Colorado. So we're there till September 16th is when we fly back out of there.
Right. Give us a thumbs up, Rod says. Rod King.
So
Badgers on Northeast Illinois on Wisconsin border. There you go. That's where Greg's from. Clint's on. How you doing, Clint? I guess I'll make 52 for my high today. Cold and rainy. 7 here right now.
All right. So this week hasn't been very well for me. We've had, it actually started last week. I had some same issues similar to this last year. And the problem is that my hard drive that I take out with us for the last 4.5 years, I use it for the computer. And what I do is I put all my files in there. And then when we get home, I usually, once I've made kind of the videos, I stick them in another file and I put them on another hard drive and I put that hard drive away and I label it of whatever the video is. That's why a couple weeks ago, I did a video on Bikes Blues and BBQ, so I could just pull out the one from last year and find Bikes Blues and BBQ and pull clips off of that and make a video. So starting in my daughter's house, that we started having issues. I thought it was my computer that I was having problems with. The videos were locking up all the time. I was having just endless amount of problems. One, I didn't want to spend another $2,000 for another computer. This one's about 2 years old. This Mac is here, so it's still young, and the old one still works because I actually fired it up because I was thinking that was part of my problem too. But what was happening was my son-in-law, because he does TV commercials, he's got like 1,000 megabytes up. And so it goes, the videos go up so fast, it's ridiculous. You know, I put them in and usually within 5 minutes, my video's up, no matter how long it is. No big deal. So I process the video. I usually go do something else. And I come back in a few minutes and it's like at half, 55%. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So I wait a little bit and I wait a little bit and still doesn't do nothing. It's been about a half an hour now, 45 minutes. So I'm like, I don't know. So let me click out of the internet and click back in, see what happens. So it looks for the video. It starts to upload again, never leaves 55. So I scrap that one. I upload another video. I render it through the computer again and do it all from the start. Same thing. It stops at 55. So I start looking at the clips and stuff. Well, it ends up saying one of my clips are corrupt. So I take that one out. So then I put it back in and it's working now. So that video ended up going up. That was one from last week sometime. I don't know which one it was. And then I made another video and I was having troubles opening those files of that video. They wouldn't open at all. So I'm like, well, now what's wrong? So put it around. I got another video up. So we got home here and the video that I did yesterday, I guess, the video that you watched. The one on the Indian dealer, the original Indian store, Pappy Hoyle's shop, garage, that video. I was having some trouble with that too. I was just having a lot of different problems with I don't know what was going on. So finally I thought, maybe there's something wrong with the hard drive. Before it craps completely out, I need to start moving files out of that into another hard drive. So I start doing all that and it says, oh, this file's corrupt. You can't do this one. So I go back in and same thing. It takes forever because these are big, this is a week long of videos that we've made and we're shooting 2 or 3 cameras. So it's a lot of footage. It's a 1 terabyte hard drive and it's almost full. So that shows you we got a lot of crap in there. So I'm bringing it all over and I'm going in. So finally I get down to where I'm doing like 4 or 5 at a time of clips that we filmed and dragging them in. That way, if it said one was corrupt, I could go past that, go to another one. Well, the problem was I'm in the middle of trying to make a video too, which is the one you're going to see on Monday. And one of the great things that we got to do, which you're not going to get to see because I don't have that footage anymore. I don't know where it's at and what happened to it and why I could watch it on the timeline, but it wouldn't upload it. And then it got to the point where I couldn't do anything with it. I should have filmed the screen and just been done with it. You'd have had better something than nothing. But we had a very unique opportunity that we've never had in our lifetime. It was some great footage of, if you've ever heard of the hamsters, they're the guys that run around in the yellow T-shirts with a hamster on the front of their shirt. It's a very, very select group. They are not a motorcycle club. They are not a 1% group. They're just a bunch of guys. It's an all-male society. It started out with Arlen Ness, which isn't around anymore. It started with David Perowitz, which is still around, and a couple other guys. We're all joking around years ago. I think it was like in the 80s or something. I think it was
70s, late 70s.
And they were all just kind of joking around about, we ought to get some kind of organization together and do some good. And so they came up with this. And one of the wives, someplace they stayed, had a hamster on a door or something. And she came back and said, I got a great name for you guys. You ought to be called a bunch of hamsters. And they're like, why not? Let's go with that. It's different, stupid, but it's they have like a little cartoon of the hamster that's on their shirts. So, and all their logos and stuff. And we got some of it in the shop. If you've seen that, we did videos on that and showed you that. It's very, and so you have to be asked to be in this group. So you get asked and then it goes to their board and then they have to approve you to be in it. Well, to get down to it is they actually own a street in Spearfish. that has 40 homes on it, which is all hamsters that own all this property that's there. They bought this, like, I think 4 or 5 years ago, they bought this neighborhood. And they have a barbecue every year during the Sturgis rally on that Saturday. What's a Saturday, right? Yeah, Saturday. And we got invited to it. One of our subscribers, one of the people that we deal with, is actually just became a hamster last year. And he said, I'd like to invite you guys out. Just be kind of cautious with the camera, don't be in everybody's face, because the hamsters are weird. Some of the hamsters we go up to, they love to get on camera. Other ones are like, back, so, which is fine. And we have certain people like David Perowitz. We go up to David Perowitz, and there's 5 guys standing around him. Most of these people are bike builders, but there's other ones. One guy's a pinstriper. The one that actually got us in is actually an announcer for rallies and stuff. Oh, yeah, that's right. He does do pinstriping too. Before that. And so there's a lot of different, but it's all about, most of them are bike builders. Well, on the way out on the Nick Street, which wasn't the street that the hamsters bought, there's still some other houses there that hamsters have bought too. So you'd see all these great customized bikes sitting in their garages out in the street. And we talked all the way down the street back to our bike to ride back to wherever we were going that night. But I mean, it was a great clip, and I lost all that. It was probably a 3 to 4 minute clip that we had. Got some shots of down and to show you all the hamsters. They were all in this one street. It was all blocked off. They had a barbecue and stuff. And they invited us to eat. We did eat something, I think, didn't we?
We just got some
dessert.
Yeah.
Because we'd already eaten before we got there, because we weren't there early to eat their food. And so it's really great. And what's nice about the hamsters too is they donate all the money they make to a charity. All of it's fundraising that they give to, I don't know all their charities, but most of it's motorcycle related, either for kids or, whatever the case may be. But they are a great group of guys. Well, I lost all that footage. It's gone. We've got a couple other footages that I know that's gone. We had a wet t-shirt contest, that the one that they have at Side Hacks. Lost all that. We're going to try to see. We talked to Rider X today, and he said bring it by. Maybe he could do something with it. The problem with it is, which I didn't realize, and if you're a YouTuber, you might think about this. There's 2 different kinds of hard drives. One's a hard drive, which is like a little record player inside, and the other one's an SSD, which is actually a computer. It's just a circuit board. And if you're going to travel around like we do, and you do too if you're a YouTuber, you don't really want the HD one. You want the SSD. It's about twice the price. They not necessarily could last as long. We talked to Rider X. He only used SSDs. And I was talking to him about it because when I was doing my research on it and stuff, I was trying to figure out how can I stop this from happening again?
Well, did they say they only last like 3 to 4 years?
4 to 5 years is the expectation of that. But I mean, we got computers. I got a computer down here. We got a computer out in the shed that's probably 20 years old, and they have those kind of drives in them, and they still work today. So, but the difference is they're holding on. This could have been dropped. It's possible. Could have came off the table, or when I'm working at the trailer or whatever, and something could have happened to it. It started making clicking noises. That's what kind of made me start thinking maybe it was a problem. I started hearing this clicking noise, and I've got 4 drives hooked up at once, because I've already taken some of the footage that we had when we first got there, because we were there for 8 weeks. 8 weeks would never fit in a 1 terabyte. That shows you how much footage we shoot. About 2 to 3 terabytes is what I took the whole time we were there in Sturgis. So we shoot a lot of video. And so we have a lot of content that we might make videos eventually on, or I may not make videos on. It just kind of depends on what happens. So a lot of the first stuff, like Iron Mountain, Needles Highway, all that kind of stuff, is all on another drive. And it's all up and it works. I've got it on two or three other drives. I've got parts of the 84th rally on. You might say, why did you put on so many drives? Because I've got drives that aren't completely full. So I fill them up and then I move to the next one. And then I label them on the outside, what's inside of them. Because a lot of the rallies is like all of 84 of 2024 here is pretty much on 2 or 3 drives. Well, that's part of those 2 drives are the ones that have Sturgis on them too. Older, the stuff at the beginning of the first. So the actual week we've lost. So there's other footage that I've lost. There was the guy that used to do portraits for Harley-Davidson at the Deadwood shop. Can't think of his name.
Oh, Scott Jacobs.
Yeah, Scott Jacobs donated or painted a really cool picture. It had a lot to do more with the flat track racing. We actually got an autographed one. It's just a poster, but it's in the shop. We'll show you that when we get back. But I mean, we had the whole thing of the dedication and all that. I got none of that. So I couldn't even get that on because that's what the video is going to be. I think a little bit of it's on Monday's video is things you could do in Sturgis that you may not think about when you go. Like I just talked to my neighbor across the street. He was there for 2 weeks and second time he's been to Sturgis. And he's like, oh, we didn't get to do nothing. There's so much stuff I missed out on. And I explained to him, there's no way you're going to ever, there's even things we haven't even got to see. You're going to get to see Sugar Bear. If you know anything about Sugar Bear custom choppers, he was actually, which he's in the video for Monday, he was able to be saved. But Tam thought he did an interview with him, and she more or less was talking to him about us setting up a meeting to meet with him. And we didn't get around to getting over there to it. He's got a new place that he's bought that he's only out there during Sturgis, that he's kind of made a little mini museum that he's invited us to last year. We've seen him. And so he invited us out there. So she's more or less, you just get to kind of see him talking to her. She thought she did an interview, but then when I said, no, you just had half the time he's not even in the camera. But those are the kind of the neat things that you and people that you can meet, because we actually found out the guy we know, Detroit, the black guy that travels all over. We seen him in Milwaukee last year. Detroit, something's his last name.
Oh, the guy that is at the races?
Yeah.
Sons of Speed?
Yeah. He was in Sturgis, which I found somebody else had a video of him. And I'm like, holy crap, we didn't get to see him. And we used to see him all the time. Great guy. He always talks to us. He's been on our last time we seen him was in Milwaukee last year. We haven't seen him since Milwaukee. But other events we've seen him at. We've seen him in Daytona.
I did him at Sons of Speeds.
Yeah, Sons of Speeds. He's down there too. And he's just, I got him in Sons of Speeds this year. So yeah, he's just a great guy. And so so that's been my dilemma. And why I brought this up when I talked about 2023 is because what happened when we got home from 2023, I decided I wanted to buy some bigger hard drives that we could leave at home and put my master stuff on it. Instead of, I got a case right now that's full of ones that I kind of drag around with us, which I think now we're not going to be dragging them around with us anymore. Just for the fact that if the bounce on it's in a foam box, but I mean, the heat could be affecting it. I don't know. So I bought one of those last year from Seagate and I downloaded everything into it. And like in a couple months later, I open it up and it's blank. There's nothing there. Well, I go into the info and it shows there's like 8 megabytes or whatever. There's something in it. So I look at it and I finally see, well, I got 2-year warranty on Seagate. So I write them and they say that, yeah, we for no charge for 2 years, we'll go in and look for your information and we'll take care of it. We can get what we can. They got most of it because I don't know what I was missing. By the time they got it back, it took probably 3 or 4 months before it ever showed up. I think they shipped it when we were out on the road again. So we didn't run really home when it showed up. And the files don't have any names on them anymore. They're all they're in the file, but it has different numbers on them now. So it's one of the things I got to go through them. And I've done some of them from last year because, I don't go back very often, but sometimes like this year, we put Iron Mountain on there. And that's actually a video from 2023 because I couldn't find my 2024 because I had left it at home. No, I didn't leave it at home. We just didn't have it. I couldn't find it. So I ended up saying, screw it. I'll just take 2023. I'll re-edit it. And that'll be our video for this year. The ride doesn't really change much. So now I found it again. I've got that one because we did that one in Needles Highway. And we didn't show Needles Highway because I didn't really have a video just on Needles Highway. So somewhere between now and Sturgis next year, that video will come back out. And I'll re-edit it and we'll put it, well, it's never been edited. Put that footage back out and do it. So ended up Seagate fixed it all. They even sent me another brand new hard drive plus my old one back, which would at that point it did open back up again, but the codes, the file names were all different. I don't know why it changed, and so that worked out. But here in this case, with Western Digital, I went on their website and the warranty expired in May of this year. So I end up I go on their information thing and I said, hey, here's my problem. Here's what's going on. Because I've already looked for somebody to get out of this little. I guess it's in the bag.
You're taking it with you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna take it to Rdgers. Okay.
Yeah. So here it is. This little guy, for a company to go inside this and get these files out for me, and no guarantee what they're going to get or how many they're going to get, is anywhere from $1,000 to $4,000 for them to do that. Well, to me, it's not worth $1,000. That's for sure. Because it's just, I've got a few videos in here. We've got some of the topless stuff, and that I might get $500 out of that, maybe on Patreon, maybe not. Who knows? because I really didn't. I glanced at it all. I didn't really edit it, so I didn't really watch the clips. And I got a couple more videos in there. Videos right now, these last couple of videos, we haven't even made $5 on either one of those 2 videos. I don't know what it is. That's why I just stopped. I'm like, screw it. I'm not putting any more videos out until we get to Ocean City, because nobody seems. Some of you are watching it, and I appreciate the 1,500 people that have looked at the last couple of videos we put out. But on 1,500 views, we made $5 on them. So we ain't getting rich. So my time of sitting here and fighting.
So
with
is it worth $4,000 to get the videos off of that we might make $20 on?
But I mean, I could make $500. But I mean, even 1,000. One guy said, I could probably get it down right around 1,000. Once again, I can't justify $1,000. If it would have been everything that I've ever filmed, yeah, but not just for the main. It's mainly the Monday, Saturday through rally, all the way through the end. And like I say, some of it I did save. I've gotten probably a quarter of it out of it, but at the time I wasn't thinking what I needed. We also had one of our sponsors, Boss Hoss. His video's gone. His is the one I was having trouble with on the video. I was trying to get it on the line and it wouldn't work. So I ended up getting a part of it, but the part I got isn't even the part that they were talking. So we won't actually see them again now till Daytona. We lost all my footage that I had shot for.
Him squealing his bike?
No, I got that. That's already on another video. So if it's gone, I've got it on the video. I already showed that. So I've got that. But I mean, for Ben. All About Customs?
No, Wide Open Customs.
Wide Open Customs. We did a whole thing on him, and it's gone.
And we can get that. We'll see.
Well, we'll see him now in Ocean City. And I need to run through that too today. So I hang around. It's all complaining apart. But I mean, I just let you know the kind of crap that I have to deal with when we do this kind of stuff. That this is the stuff that just pulls my hair out, because there's not anything. Actually, I was going to take it outside and beat the hell out of it with a hammer to give me my satisfaction. I ended up deciding not to. And then we ended up, Ryder X called us this morning and I answered her phone. And so I was telling him about it. And he said, let me see if I can do anything. I said, it can't hurt. But because that's what somebody else said. They said something when I was looking at all these chat boards, they were saying sometimes you can find an independent shop. Because I think what's going to have to happen with this one, it's going to have to be taken apart, and maybe the little disc that's inside there that's got all the information on it is going to be taken out and put it in another one. Because I think the mechanism inside is what's screwed up. I think. I mean, I'm not going to open it up because I don't want to make it any worse in case somebody along. Because that's why I said I took all the labels off. I was just going to leave it here, just leave it at home. And then he said, bring it down with you. I'll take it. I'll see what I can do with it. And it's like, it can't hurt. So we'll see what happens. So at that point, there's not going to be a whole lot more of Sturgis videos coming out the rest of this year, other than us talking about stuff that's going on. But
sounds good, Ramble.
So that's kind of the dilemma I have. The other thing is the viewership right now is just sucks. And it does this every time we get back from Sturgis, that we go in the crapper, because we do so, and especially this year, we did so well in Sturgis this year. The 8 weeks we were here, it was a gamble on how I was going to do it, and it ended up working out really great. We're going to do the same thing next year with different videos, of course. It's the same 8 weeks we're going to spend out there pumping videos out, because we got so many people to watch us. But the problem is now Sturgis is over, and I'm not interested. I don't care anymore. And so, we
don't care. The people that we're watching don't care anymore.
Yeah, they're not going
Sturgis
back.
Is over.
Yeah, the people that were watching 10, 20, 30, 100,000 on a video, they're not watching any of the videos we're putting out anymore, because they're home now. They don't care. Now, I thought some people would come back and they'd want to go back and watch those videos because, hey, maybe I'll be in it, or what did I miss? I always like that. I always look at videos all the time, especially motorcycle rallies. I'm looking at some of the ones of, they had the Four Corners up here. We've just heard horror stories about that over the years. There really isn't any real videos out there on it. It's up here in Colorado and all that kind of stuff. So I look for that. They had Atlanta Bike Week right now. I just heard from some girl on Facebook, no video, but says it sucks. It was the worst thing. There was like 4 vendors in the Harley dealership or something, and that was it. And so I don't know. I've never been to that. The one that's, I guess it's in Jersey.
Mom just sent us one from a Europe one.
Yeah. She sent pictures?
Yeah, she sent and some videos too. I know I never showed you. And
I was going to ask her if it was a pretty good videos, or we're going to try to at least put them like on Facebook or something for you.
An
Australian one.
She says there's a ton more vendors. It looks like t-shirt. T-shirt vendors, leather vendors. I didn't see any motorcycle vendors.
See, over there you might not have as much parts as what you have here. So see, I also looked at the smokeout. There's a guy right now that's putting a bunch of stuff on Facebook, but you're not really seeing anything. He showed there were some drag races that they had in the dirt. So I think there were some girls that might have been topless or something way in the background, and you couldn't really see it. So it's like, I don't know what he was actually pointing to. He's looking between some bikes. And I'm like, whatever. So, but I mean, there's not much. The monkey put one out, but I mean, the one he put out, I don't think he's put anything out since. He got there early before anybody else has. There's nothing else out there. So I like to look at a lot of these different rallies, because not saying I'm going to go to one for sure, but I might. Adam Sandoval has actually just got on his Facebook page today, or actually it popped up on mine, that he's having a ride down to the one in Mexico. He's leaving November 7th. You can book with his the hotel. He's got a hotel there, or a resort that's got a deal with it for 3 nights or whatever, and go down with him and come back with his group, which is something I might look into. I may not. We wouldn't probably stay with his group, because if her cousin's down there, we can stay with him for free. So something to think about. So I don't know, but because I really like that Rocky Point down there. It's a really cool rally. It's just old school, and but you got to have a passport. You're going into Mexico. It's more fun. I said it's going to be more fun if you go with people, because when we went down there by ourselves, her cousins weren't really partier people. They weren't bikers, so they did go to a bar one night that we should have went to too, but we ended up never going to it. But it looked like it was right. But down on the main street where they have, I don't know what it's even called, but it's on the Sea of Cortez. So the Sea of Cortez is across the street, you're looking at the Sea of Cortez, and it's just cool. And that's where you really want to hang out at. But there's all these other places you go to, but that's beside the point. But the point is just there's so much information out there, and I like to look at all that kind of stuff. And when we started our channel, I actually thought that's what people would do. Just like here, we had never been to Daytona. We had actually never, in our whole life, we'd never been to Daytona. Been to Florida, but never been to Daytona. And we've been to Miami and Florida and Fort Lauderdale and Orlando and all that stuff with the kids. We've done all that kind of stuff, but never had gone to Daytona. So I would have liked it, which there really wasn't a whole lot of videos before we got into this that really had much on what you could see at an event. Plus, YouTube's only 12 or 14 years old, so it's not that old to start with to have videos. And for Facebook, same thing. It hasn't been around that long either. So, but that's what I would do. I would like to see all these different rallies. It's like somebody was just the other day was talking about they'd like to go to Laconia. And I'm like, you need to watch our videos and make a decision if that's what you want to go to. Because right now, riding the Ozarks, he lives up there by Lake of the Ozarks. And that's coming up next week too. We've gone 1 year. That's the only time we've gone. We know Lake of the Ozarks because we lived about, I don't know, 60 miles from it, 50 miles from it. So we didn't live very far Lake of the Ozarks. We've been out there with a boat on the lake and all that stuff. It's one of the largest lakes in the United States, which is what he was saying. It's actually got more coastline than the whole state of California's got. I think it's actually more than the whole West Coast. Because there's all these little fingers. And they're all ripperly, and so it takes up a lot more room. And a lot of it's federal land. So it's like on BLM or some places call it federal land that we own it because we're taxpayers. So it was a man-made lake, and but it is a really cool area. And they were kind of comparing it to Bikes Blues and BBQ, which is the following weekend. Which we're going to Lake of the Ozarks. We're not doing this year. We're doing Ocean City and doing Bikes Blues and BBQ. But the difference is Lake of the Ozarks. My comparison would be doing a rally. I don't know. I can't really even think of a small town, but well, let's just do it this way. Let's say we were going to have a gambling party. We were going to go someplace and have a lot of gambling. So let's go to St. Louis, Missouri, where they've got one boat and another boat someplace. That's it. Or we could have it in Las Vegas. Well, there's no comparison there, right? Because Las Vegas is gigantic, and it is the city of gambling and all that kind of stuff, where any other city compared to them is not really a comparison. So when they were kind of comparing Bikes, Blues, and BBQ to Lake of the Ozarks, same thing. Lake of the Ozarks is a party lake. If any of you have heard of like Lake Havasu, a lot of people talk about that. It's a party. Lake Havasu isn't even 1/millionth the size, 0.1 millionth of the size of what Lake of the Ozarks is. And they got all these great party bars and all this stuff on the river, on the lake. You can pull your boat up. Plus, you can get to it with cars. So they got all these venues that have bands all summer long and everything else. Well, Bikes, Blues, and BBQ isn't a party town. Rdgers isn't. Fayetteville never was. And neither is Eureka Springs. It's very scenic town. But they're not really set up for having concerts. In Rogers, Walmart actually own. I don't know if they own or maybe they just sponsor it. There's an amphitheater that they have actually Tuesday. Alice Cooper and Rob Zombie's going to be there the Tuesday before the rally. And then somebody else said, why didn't they book it during it? Well, they actually have other jobs someplace else the other part of the week. So they probably really couldn't have done that. So will it help? I doubt it. But you can't really compare the two. But the difference is, as I would say, Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue has a hell of a lot better riding than what you're going to find in Lake of the Ozarks. Lake of the Ozarks is, you're at the very edge of the Ozarks, very edge, to where a lot of it you get in there and there's no trees at all. It's not like the desert, but I mean, it's not like you get in Eureka Springs and you're like in the middle of the forest. Now, if you go to Rogers in Fayetteville, they're just a typical city. The only trees people have is in their front yard or their backyard, and that's it. Other than that, there really isn't any. So it's not, so it's just a different atmosphere. And they were also kind of comparing to Sturgis. Well, first of all, there is no rally compares to Sturgis. Not even Daytona. No, there is nothing compares to Sturgis. They've got everything. They've got the best riding. They've got the best vendors. They've got, the best people show up. Every town loves you. Nobody closes their business up because they're afraid of the bikers are coming in. So, that's why I said nobody can compare to that, because South Dakota has figured out it brings a lot of money in. And these little towns love that money coming in. They love us coming in. Come into our shop, take pictures, put all that funny costumes on and take pictures. Yeah, here's $50. Oh yeah. Because most motorcycle people, if you're going to come to an event like that, we do have money to spend. It's our vacation usually. So you're going to do some fun things. You're going to spend some money. So when you look at some of the stuff, that's what you can't always compare. Now we're working on right now, getting all the contact people, which we're only down in Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue. We get there on Monday and we're only there till Sunday. So we're not there real long time. So I can't do a whole lot.
6 days.
So we're going to try to do is get our connections there, which we already have some, and try to get to these people and see if we can help Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue get the crap together. A lot of people say Fayetteville was a lot better. I don't know. We never went to Fayetteville. By the time we started doing this, Fayetteville had pretty much rolled up the street. But I mean, I don't know how many bars were on Fayette Street. If there was 3, that would be a miracle. We didn't count it. We did drive down there because we wanted to see what this big street was. Well, the street's only like, 2 or 3 blocks long, if it's even that long. Because up on if you went from the college side up, on the far right is the parking lot that Amazon Adam was in. And I don't know where the other vendors were at. But
they call it the bookstore they used to be in.
And so I don't know how many vendors were there. I don't know if they lined the street up or if it was all, bike parking all the way down. But looking at it, Leesburg is actually probably a longer street there than what they had in Fayetteville. That's just my looking at it and my remembering all that. But I don't know. So when you start looking at all this stuff, that's why I said it's tough when you look at these rallies, because we went to Lake of the Ozarks in 2021 and we weren't impressed at all. It was a lot of riding. You had to get to the bars because they're all on the fingers of the lake is where all these different bars are at. One of them had Jackal, and
that was a gator place.
Yeah, and that was up there, and there was like 3 bars there, and then they got a main street that they closed off. Well, it's a run-down beach town. Lake of the Ozarks, Osage Beach there has probably been there for 50, 60 years, and they probably ain't done nothing to it since then. Really old buildings. There's some cool bars down there, but they closed it. Well, I don't know if they still, I'm assuming because they closed it off. So it runs right up to Bengal Dam. And Bengal Dam. And they put a barricade across that. So you can't really cruise it up and down like you could Sturgis or Leesburg or some of these other rallies that Daytona has got a main street that you can cruise your bike up and down. And some people like to do that.
That year we were there, the dam was closed. They were working on it.
But I don't know. But they say they closed that street down, so they would have to put a block someplace down there. So that's what they were saying last night. They closed that street down because they were also discussing. Let me get a drink. at Bikes Blues and Barbecue in Rdgers. So Rdgers now has taken it over from Fayetteville because Fayetteville said, screw you. We only care about colleges. We don't care about you stupid butthole bikers. So it's like at that point, that's what I said. That year, I said, well, if you go to Rdgers, they should get it together. They got a cool downtown, make it happen. So first year kind of sucked. We were there. Second year, a little better. Third year, we'll have to wait and see. But they started closing some streets down, but they're not totally locking them down. So like on Saturday morning, I think it's open till noon. They're still allowing cars to come through. So I'm thinking their idea is they still want the car traffic to come in. And then from noon till midnight or whatever, it'll be shut down for bikers only. Well, the problem that they have right now is the odds are you're not going to go down there and spend all night down there because there just isn't a lot going on. They do have a big venue for concerts where you're going to park your bike, but you're probably not going to patronize any of the businesses that are there. So we're going to talk to them about all this and see if we can help them make this a little more organized, make it be more friendly to the businesses, and find out what the businesses are to see if they are things that bikers would like to buy. If it's things that grandmas would like to buy for the grandkids or something like that. So just got to kind of see. It's not like a Sturgis. It's not like, Main Street on Sturgis. It's not like Daytona Main Street. But you have to realize Sturgis and Daytona, most of those businesses are gone now. There's nobody on those streets. There's a couple, like in Daytona, that first block has a handful of businesses, but the rest of them are gone. You can go all the way down to the end of the street. What's the bar at the end?
Dirty Harry's.
Dirty Harry's on the right. The other one's on the left that she wants to sell T-shirts.
Boot Hill.
So Boot Hill's always open. But I mean, pretty much other than
Dirty
that, Dirty Harry, the main building is open year round. But I mean, when we go down there before the rally, there's like 2 or 3 bikes out there during the day. So it's not really, and so because the rest of the businesses are closed. There. One Sexy Biker Chick, she doesn't keep her store open all the time. George Cigars, he doesn't keep his store open all the time during the year because it gets dead down there. During the summer, it's too hot and people don't want to go down there. So, but the point is when you go to these towns like Rdgers and Leesburg and stuff like that, you want to patronize some of these businesses because they are there. They are shutting the streets down for you. They're catering to the motorcycle community. It's like Leesburg, which is kind of cute, that a lot of the stores that really don't sell stuff to motorcycle people, they'll put tables out front, maybe have the Boy Scout or Girl Scout group selling candy or selling water and Gatorade or whatever they're doing, snacks, chocolates, or whatever they had. So it was kind of like, hey, let's take advantage of our store. We don't need anybody coming inside. We don't really have anything. A furniture store doesn't need to be open during bike week. We ain't buying any furniture and having it shipped back here. So they put these tables out front, and so which kind of makes it kind of nice to where it's another option. To where I don't know if Rdgers knows this kind of stuff that you can do. Probably there isn't anybody other than us that have been to all these different rallies that we've been to. Now, we haven't been to them all, but we've been to the majority of the larger rallies we've been to, and we've seen smaller rallies. Actually, Hollister, we talked about it the other day. Hollister used to be one of the oldest rallies in the United States. I forget what year they started out, but probably 10 or 15 years ago, they pulled the plug. Well, they actually sent their police department last year to Leesburg to see how they did it because they couldn't figure out how they can keep control of a crowd with just the officers that they have. And so we're going to find out when we go to Leesburg this year how that turned out, because all the businesses in Hollister, if you know anything about Hollister, California, there's nothing there. Ain't nobody going. This year, I think they said there was like 20 bikes showed up. Usually over the years, there's still been motorcycles coming in during the weekend. It would have been. Well, one of the news channels, that's how I found it. It was on Facebook. One of the news channels was showing it on a Saturday, like at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The main bar, it's got this mural on the side of Hollister Days, and with motorcycles. And it was like 4 bikes sitting out front. And then they went around and talked to the businesses, and they all were saying, we need this back. We're hounding our Chamber of Commerce and our city council. We want bikers to come back. We want this rally to fire back up, which would be great, because there really isn't crap on the California side anymore. Even on the West Coast, we don't really have much. The Reno one, not hot August nights, what do they call that? Street vibrations. It sucks. Same thing. We don't spend enough money. Las Vegas is gone. Laughlin's gone. A lot of these rallies are all gone. Yeah, they got one in Irvine, California. That it's like, yeah, and they got a couple beer tents. They play some big games, and that's it. You know, there really isn't a whole lot of nothing going on. But that's the best they got. But chairs banging up against the bed.
I don't know what that was. So Michael Adams is on. He's the one that helped us get down to Myrtle Beach last year.
And happy anniversary.
Yep. Belated one. And Brenda High, Salty Badger says that was the chopper show up there. And he wanted to know about your chopper. Have you done any more with it?
It's too hot.
All right. So Kurt R said he is up in Big Bear and the fires are 12 miles away from him.
I know. I just seen some. They're starting to. Is it Highland? That I seen video that they're evacuating homes. It's gone crazy now. That's one thing bad about California. We always lived in it. Well, we did live in it. We got evacuated 2 times. And I said, third time, we're getting the hell out of here. We lived in an area, Anaheim Hills area, and then the fire came within a block of our house. And so after that, we decided, get out. We moved out to Corona, where our daughter was kind of always worried. I said, there's got to be like 10,000 homes that got to burn before it ever gets to our house. So there's no trees really, other than some palm trees and things like that. The fire's not going to get to us, which it never did. We had a couple of fires come up over the mountain, but never came anywhere near us.
Mateka K said a solid state drive. Is that what that other one was?
Yeah, the SSD.
Okay, so I just figured. And I guess Detroit Randy is.
Yep.
Randy, and his last name's Haywood.
Yeah, that's right.
Greg was on. I didn't know how his new truck was doing. And Tall Jeff's on. And Guns and Ride wants to know if we've ever been to the Tomahawk in Wisconsin rally. It's this fall coming up, and no, we haven't. But Neil says he's been up there.
Yeah, no, I haven't. But the bad thing about, not really bad, but for us bad, that small rallies that are a distance from where we're at isn't justifiable for us to go. And that's where it rolls down to, because it's one, we either have to drive the trailer all that way, or if we even if I rode my motorcycle all that way, I still got to pay for motels and all that kind of stuff. And a small rally, you don't make enough money on. We'll see how these two do, but see what difference between these two that we're doing right now is we're sponsored for this. So we've got a condo that we're staying with, one of our subscribers. We are, I did pay for the airlines, but with here we had Camp Easy Ride, which is one of our sponsors, very first sponsor we ever had. And his money that he gave us paid for this trip to do this, go to Bikes Blues and BBQ and come back home. So that covered that expense, which is what we wanted to do. So the idea is, so then when we get to, they're going to load me up when we get to Ocean City.
Emory
HVAC is the one that he's got a condo. So what he does is he's gracious enough to give us the master bedroom. We have our own bathroom and all that stuff. And he brings a couple of his buddies and stuff along. And normally, most of the time, we don't ever see them because we get up earlier than they do, and we're back before they do because usually I got to make a video, and by that time we just go to bed. So we didn't really get to see them all this year. That we're going to try to do a little more stuff together. But that was the first year we had no clue what was going on. So he helps us with that. He's also given us a motorcycle to ride. So other than a car rental that we have to come from Baltimore all the way there. And then we go to Bikes, Blues, and BBQ, same thing there. We have the Cat House is sponsoring us with a place to stay for the week. They put us up. And Pig Trail Harley-Davidson is giving us a motorcycle to ride. Not a new one, which we don't want a new bike. I don't really want a new bike. In case something does happen to it, I don't want it to be the end of the world. Last year we had that 2021. Had low miles on it. I told anybody that wanted to buy it, it would be a great bike to buy. It rode great, drove great, no real problems with the bike. Loved it. Be a great bike for anybody to buy. And that worked out great for us. So they're going to sponsor us there. So then we don't have a lot of money that's coming out of our pocket. We got a rental car in both locations. Because going to Bikes, Blues, and BBQ, last year we flew into Springfield, Missouri, which was a horror mess going into that place. Car rental place was miles away. It was just everything just didn't go good there. So Jeff from the Cat House said you ought to fly into Tulsa. It's about an hour and a half drive back to Eureka Springs. And I'm like, okay, that's not bad. We'll do that. And it was cheaper. We could fly with Southwest straight in. We didn't have to go to some rinky-dinky airlines, which we had to do last year. So this way, all of our flights are Southwest. We're gaining points to where maybe on something like that. There's a couple things I'd like to do, and we'll talk about that later. So that's how this is. So really, the only thing that's coming out of our personal pocket is the 2 car rentals. Which,
well, no.
So I don't know.
The airfare, but I guess.
Yeah, the airfare is what? Yeah. So Camp Easy Ride paid for that. So they gave us money, and I used it to pay for that. So, and we got some new sponsors. So we're going to talk about that real quick too. So that's how we got to these rallies. So in the long run, that's what has killed us by doing this is we love doing this. We love giving out information. We love meeting all of you guys and girls and stuff. It's really cool. I'm not, you would never think that I'm an outgoing person. I usually don't talk to anybody. We were someplace, our daughter had a birthday party for our grandson and had a lot of their friends. And I ended up going upstairs watching TV. And because I have nothing to talk to them about. I'm not, she found a thing the other day that it was a bear sitting at a table. And what did it say?
It said, I'm at a family reunion and nobody wants to talk about motorcycles. So this bear was sitting at a picnic table all by himself.
So she thought of me.
I said, there you go. Is this you? He says, well, motorcycles or anything else I want to talk about.
And so, yeah, because if I don't know, and I don't want to talk about any kind of politics, no matter what side you're on. I really don't want to sit down and talk about politics and stuff. You can see enough of it on the internet and all that, and that's enough. And so I'm like that. My sister would have never dreamed I would even do anything like this. My sister, our brother, they're both older than me, and so that's the kind of person.
Any of our family or friends.
Yeah, know that I really don't talk to anybody. And so that's what makes this kind of cool and neat because we all have something in common. One, most of you know us a lot more than we know you because you've seen us and you've been watching us and things like that. To where when we first started this, it was really weird because people would come up and they'd say, "Oh, my name's Jim," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm Bob," and they're like, "We already know that." And I'm like, "Oh, okay," I've never seen you before. So it was like, but it is. There's a lot of people that consider me their best friend. Well, I don't really know them that well. Some of them we have. There's quite a few of you subscribers that we've spent some time with. We've done other events with and gone on rides with you and a lot of
house.
Yeah, stayed at your house. So different people. So we do know more, but I mean, really, we don't know anybody that well because we don't spend a lot of time with you because it's not like we see you at a rally.
You spend more time with us than we do with you.
So, but that's we love doing this. We love the content, just like knowing Sugar Bear, knowing Dave Perowitz, knowing Billy Lane, and all these different people. It is so cool to have these kind of contacts because if we want to do something like the flat track, Cameron loves us, and I didn't realize he was the freaking director of the whole flat track organization, and I didn't find that out until I was on the roof filming, and the guy was like, "You don't have one of our vests on. Why are you filming this?" And I'm like, "Well,"
he says, "How did you get up here?"
I said, "Well, Cameron told, oh, if Cameron knows, it's okay then." And I'm like, so I came back to her and I'm like, "Who is Cameron that we always talk to?" And so I Googled him. Oh, hell, he's the director. No wonder. But he's been on the channel. The guy that always talks about the flat track racing. That's Cameron. Well, we met him a couple years ago in Daytona, and he's kind of taken a shine to us. And he loves it that we give out, we talk about him. And most of the businesses that we talk to like us because we're promoting them. And it's not, most of them, well, we have now sponsors, but I mean, most of them aren't paying anything for it. They're getting a free shout out for whatever it is. Like we sat down with the 3 owners of, the Knuckle and had a little chat with them. We got to talk to, Richard Rawlings from Gas Monkey. We got him several times. Just had somebody come on today. Last night when I was on Ozark, Riding the Ozarks had it live last night. And one of the YouTubers were on there and he said, "I don't know what you did or how you did it," but he says, all I could get out of Richard was a wave from him on camera. And I'm like, I don't know. We caught him at a good time. He watched our video and he ended up loving us and realized there's too many people out here, just like all this woke stuff that's going on with Harley-Davidson and all this stuff. Those 2 stupid guys that are putting that, which are probably not stupid, but the 2 guys that are putting all that main information out that started all this, they don't even own motorcycles. Never even rode a motorcycle in their life. So everybody's taking all their information and going with it. And we talked about it before. CEOs really don't have a whole lot to do with the operation of a company. They don't make any major decisions. It's management that's underneath them. Is like when I worked at the gas company, it was like that. If they were going to buy 100 new trucks, management would figure it all out and figure out the cost and the analyze of how long it would take them to get that money back, what the benefits are. Then they hand it to the CEO and says, "We just need you to sign off on this." So 90% of the time, they're just going to sign it, not even read it. Some of them might sit down and jot through it and read it. Most of them,
analyze it.
Yeah, most of them might say, "I don't know nothing about vehicles. I don't know nothing about it. So that's kind of what a CEO really does. A lot of now, if you're in a small company and you have a CEO, then yeah, that guy's probably a lot involved with the corporation that he's running. But on these big corporations, GM and Polaris and all this stuff, they're really not involved with the everyday operations. And they can tell you what their wish list is, but that doesn't mean that's what the company's going to do. And Harley's still selling motorcycles and people are still buying it. And I just saw that on Facebook the other day, or today, I guess, or yesterday. Somebody was like, oh, how bad is this going to hurt Harley-Davidson? I said, the only people that are really whining and crying about this are the people, we'll go the other way. The people that are buying Harley-Davidson motorcycles, the new ones, are the people that want a new motorcycle. I want to buy a new motorcycle. I'm going to go buy a Harley. I don't really give a rat's but what the CEO is doing up there. He's not my local dealer. He's not the place that I'm buying from, the people that I'm dealing with on an everyday basis. What that stupid moron's up there doing or what he's wishing to do, I could care less, because in our case, we'll probably never see the moron again. And that'll be fine with us, because we've told you, if you watched the video, what we thought about the guy. We didn't think a whole lot of him either. But a lot of CEOs are like that, because you'd be surprised if you would spend a lot of time looking at these corporations that you buy stuff from. If it's Sam's Wholesale Club, or if you're buying Aunt Jemima's pancake syrup, or whatever you're buying, which they changed their name on that. But I mean, all the different stuff that they've done, all these different companies, you'd be surprised when you look at the CEO and you Google them, you'd be surprised what their real thoughts are on what they do on their personal time. So
our rumor says that I understand, but the CEO needs to go.
Which I've already said it. You want the CEO to go? We can make this happen in 30 days. Everyone that owns a Harley-Davidson goes out and buys 10 shares of Harley-Davidson stock. That's all it's going to take. That's about 100 and I don't know what the current price is. About 100 and let's say $180 is all it's going to cost you. You give me, or we'll give one person all the rights for voting, which we can't really do this till May, because that's when the stockholders meeting comes up. But once we get 51% of the company, we can fire anybody.
Fire the whole board.
That's right. And we can hire the next person. And that's all it would take. So let's make it happen. I'm happy to go buy my shares tomorrow. I don't have a problem buying the 10 shares to compete with this. And of course, they're going to panic and get going too. Now they might play games too, because just like the CEO, he's been getting $30,000 worth of shares for the last, he's been there since 2017 or 2018 is when he came in. So he's been getting $30,000 worth of shares. But I'm just saying, I don't know how many people own Harley-Davidsons, but I'm saying there's probably several 100,000, might even be 1 million people. And if we all bought 10 shares, I think we would have more stock in the company than anybody on that board. Maybe even if all those people put their board money together, we still have more money than them. Because actually Vanguard, I think, is the one who's at the top. Is the number one. They've got the 51%.
And then that H Life Partners, whatever that is.
So they could do the same thing we're going to do, where you sign. But I know this because when I worked for the union, we as employees, we all had shares. So as president of the union, we got all the members to sign the shares over to me, which I cannot sell them. I can't buy them. All I've got is voting rights. So then when you go to the board meeting, you can stand up and say, I have 2 million, 4 million stocks on Harley-Davidson. And here's what we want to do. Because if we sold it all really quick, the company would go bankrupt. Because that's what happened is the stock money is the people that invested in the stock money is what's keeping Harley-Davidson going. It's not the money that we buy motorcycles for. Let's say, like the one guy said, they make $3,500 on a bike. So let's say they made, I don't know how many bikes they made this year. Somebody'd have to look it up. But you think that's enough money to pay for the factories and all the people working there and all that? No, it's the stock money that comes in. People buying the stocks, they take that money and they invest it into the company, because that's kind of how stocks and stuff work. Is it's a lot of companies will do that. They'll go and make it stock holding company to where they can get new money in, or the guy that owns the business, he can get some of his money back out of the company. So yes, I agree the guy probably should go, but we could get somebody a whole lot worse too. Think about it. You're just saying we want him to hire an American. Why aren't you being discriminatory if you're telling them you got to hire an American? You know, I don't know who I would hire, because you could get somebody in there that would go totally off wild and do crazy stuff. You know, none of us are going to go sit up there and stand over his desk and watch him do work every single day. It just isn't going to happen. Nobody's got that time and nobody has that interest to do that. So, you know, you could go into, if we had enough stock, we could get ourselves put on the board. One person could be, and we could go into all the board meetings. We could hear what Harley-Davidson's thinking, what their goals are as a board meeting. I don't know how often they meet. They could meet once a month. They could meet every 6 months. Definitely no once a year, because in May is when they have their stockholders meeting. So I don't know how often. You'd have to look at the I don't know. They don't really put out their minutes.
133,412,000 shares is what they have right now.
Well, that's not bad. So I wouldn't take. So I'll ask that question. I don't know if it could tell me how many Harley-Davidson motorcycles are in the United States. Of course it didn't go down. Yeah, so they don't even have that kind of number.
Bob for CEO of Harley-Davidson.
And so they don't even have. They can't even.
The current shocks, I think it was $17. Emery says it's $36.63.
Oh, when I looked the other day, it was 17 something.
Must have went up.
Stock on Harley-Davidson. Yep, 36. So it's gone up. Yes, it was way down and it's going back up again. Because it was up to 37. Maybe I was thinking 30s. But even at that, 10 shares is still only $360.47. So it's not that it ain't going to kill anybody if we all bought. If you really want to do this, that's what it would take. But we'd have to get every Harley-Davidson owner in the United States to jump in on this. Then we'd have to get somebody legally to we'd have to get a hold of all those people, because we have to get them to sign a paper that gives somebody. We could hire a lawyer to be our spokesperson to go to Harley-Davidson and say, we got it. Now the stock's going to jump more. If we went in there and bought this kind of stock, the idea would be, if we all started buying stock tomorrow, it's going to jump fast. The idea
we all have to do it like the same day, same time.
That's right. Because as it gets old, it's going to keep climbing. It could hit 100, 2, 3. If we bought that much stock, the company's probably going to be about $300 a share. So the money that we're investing is going to be worth a lot more than what you've got. But that scares people, because it makes people think we ought to sell out, which we might. We might end up getting people like the CEO just says, screw it, I quit. I'm taking my money and running. Because if it triples in whatever he's got, if he's been getting $30,000, he's making $30 million. So he's getting $30 million worth of stock a year. If that's what he got last year. I'm assuming the years before he was getting that too, because it showed he was making like $46 million a year, but 30,000 something was what he got stock holding. So
there's Crazy Taylor says maybe Elon will buy some.
Never know. But I mean, that's what it takes to really do something. Writing letters, boycotting anything really isn't going to do anything. Because just like me, if I wanted to buy a new Harley-Davidson, there's no other, I'd like to have an Indian, but I have no plans of buying a new Indian. I would buy a good used Indian. I don't have a problem with that. But if I was looking to buy, like I said the other day yesterday on Riding the Ozarks, I would love to buy a new Road Glide. I like it. It handled really good. They kind of said there were some reasons why they didn't like it. He's kind of like me. He's always rode a Street Glide, and he likes the Street Glide overall. I'd like to try the Road Glide for a while, a couple years, to see how I like it. But I don't want to spend the money, and I don't want a payment. So at this point, I don't have any intentions of buying any new motorcycle. Not saying I'm not going to buy any motorcycles. We might be buying some used bikes, just like we took her to. Cam's already had 2 bikes in this last year already. I need to buy another bike so I can stay ahead.
Get a bike.
I got 2. I need 3. I'll be one ahead, because you already got 2 now. It's time for me to get another one.
He's always got
Miko Auctions coming.
One up on me. You're gonna have a premiere coming up.
So that's the end of that. So, but I mean, that's what it would take. Like somebody else told us the other day that he's going to write a letter to the board of directors, and they're just going to throw it. One, it's never even going to get to them. They're going to throw it in the trash before it ever gets to them. It just isn't going to happen. Could they end up getting rid of the guy? Anything's possible, but they hired him. The only reason they hired this guy is to get the stock market up. Now, I don't know. We'd have to go back and see in 2016 what was the stock in 2016?
Price.
What was the price at that time? You could go back and find that scale. So if he's climbed, let's say back then it was $20 and now it's $37, 36, almost 37. And he's done his job. He's done what they wanted him to do. Yeah. But so you got to look at, everybody doesn't understand this, that the stock market, the board of directors and the CEO is mainly there to make sure the stockholders make good money, because these old people are living off that money. They're getting dividends every month if they've got enough money in there. So they're getting a nice fat check, and that's what they're living on, besides whatever else they got, pensions or Social Security or whatever they got. So I know it because we dealt with that at the gas company in California. So those are the people you got to keep happy, because if not, they'll sell their stock and they'll go invest it in somebody else's stock. So over the years, I don't know. I'm not a big stock guy. I never really was. When I started working for the gas company, they put a lot of our money into the stock market. My 401 plan is in a stock market. Before that, we never had a 401 plan. I never worked for a company that I know that even had a stock. They probably did. I worked for an air conditioning company, Singer. They probably had stocks. A couple other companies. What?
He said, I heard that alarm and I thought I had to get up and go to work.
So, but like I say, I don't know. But I mean, yes, I would agree. I don't like the guy. But I mean, I really don't know the guy. That's for one. And yes, everybody in this world is thinking about energy. Because even like this, we're not going to have liquid gasoline forever. It's not going to last forever. Eventually, it's going to run out. When, I don't know. Could be 50 years, could be 100 years, could be 25 years. Who knows when this is going to run? There's only so much in the ground. It's not being regenerated. Natural gas is the same way. If it wasn't for fracking, we would have ran out of gas in about the next year or two. That's how much all that was left when I started working for the gas company, because I figured, okay, I'd just make it to 55 at least if they did go bankrupt. I mean, not go bankrupt, but if they ran out of natural gas, and they're trying to come up with nitrogen now. They're trying to mix nitrogen with gas to be the same thing. You don't know they're doing this. If they're stopping fracking, we're going to lose our natural gas, which in turn, like somebody else the other day when I was talking to him, I was actually a teacher in California, and he was talking about electricity. And I said, do you know what, as I worked at SoCal Gas, I said, you know who our biggest customer was, don't you? And he's like, no. I said, Edison Electric, to run their generators. He says, aren't they coal? The coal's on the East Coast. There's no coal on the West Coast. They stopped all that a long time ago. They want to get rid of all the coal mines. But so they're using natural gas. There isn't enough wind. There's not enough sun. There's not enough of this stuff other than natural gas to run these generators. Used to be coal. Coal was doing it. They burned it. They got to run the generators, and that's what made our electricity. So until they come up with something, they got rid of nuclear. That was the way to really go. Nuclear is a lot safer than but everybody bleeded hearts about it, and they got rid of a lot of the nuclear plants are gone.
They got enough to last for 1,000 years up there in Alaska.
I don't buy that. Because you don't know what the other fields around the world, when they run out, and
in Alaska.
Well, I'm just saying. But if Alaska had to supply everybody in the world, would it last? Now, see, with the Alaskan pipeline, which a lot of people didn't really understand, it didn't pump natural gas through that line. It pumped some really crude tar-like substance that went through there. So they weren't really going to use it for gasoline when it got down here. They were going to use it for other byproducts that they were going to make. Because I always thought it was going to be a gasoline line. No, it's like tar coming out. Because that's what they kept saying about the Indian reservations and all that. If that would have gotten the water, gasoline they can clean up. But if you get some of this real toxic stuff that comes out of, because gasoline is just a form of what's coming. There's all different things that come out of petroleum out of the ground. Which we're not going to get into all that.
He said that in 72, that's what they've been saying, that they keep finding more oil than ever.
But you never know. You can estimate what is there, but you really don't know. Just like natural gas. They predict this, but they don't know. For a long time, we were shipping natural gas. China was shipping gas to us, natural gas, liquid form. And when we was able to start fracking, we started shipping liquid gas back to China, because we could sell it to them cheaper than they could pull it out of the ground. And we were shipping that out of the Baja, California Baja.
Yeah.
Down there's a plant down there. the company I work for owned. Semper Energy owned it, and they were going to start exporting gas. I think now I don't know what they're doing nowadays, but that's what they were doing when I was still
I
there.
don't know how do they dispose of the nuclear waste? What did they do with that? I think all of them are closed now. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. See, like we did, the one we had in California was all water cooled. And they checked it all the time. There was fish and dolphins and all kinds of stuff swimming out in the ocean. So there was nobody dying from what was in there. I don't know with the later, newer technology if there is a lot of waste. Like I say, I'm not a nuclear guy, so I can't answer all that. I just know that this plant, which is still there, they just shut it down because what ended up happening was this company that owned, it was part of Edison, had this nuclear plant that was down in Santa Onofre, and they got cheap on getting repairs done, and they had China come over here and work on the stupid thing. Well, then the stuff that they put in it was causing a lot of problems. They got some cracks in it and things like that, and made them shut down. Well, they could have came back in with Americans and built it, and they could have fixed it and been right. But it was an excuse for California to close it down. And then they closed the ones that were up north in California too. They closed those all down. So that's the problem that we run into. So it's everybody keeps saying this number 2030. That's what the CEO said. That's not what he said. He said 2050 is what he wanted to be totally electric. Okay, which 25 years from now, who knows? We could have flying cars by then. I don't know. Look what we've got in the last 25 years. You know, who knows what's going to happen then? Could we be totally electric? It's possible. Could be something else? Possibly. Could we be running on fusion like the Back to the Future? We could put garbage in and fuel our vehicles? Possible. You know, you don't know. Nobody knows what the future is going to bring.
Back in the day when there was supposedly a car that could run on water.
Yeah. We would have never dreamed as kids that we would have phones, let alone have a computer in our hands. If they would have told us that in the 80s.
This is like the Jetsons, like we're right here, right now.
And so it's like, who would have dreamed that? You know, I had a bag phone the first time, and I thought that was really cool. I had no dream, because computers were just coming out then. We just kind of started having home computers. There was computers out. They had the disk and all that stuff spinning around. Big corporations.
Binary code that you had to do.
A punch card. I did that in high school. I took a data entry class and learned how to type up and do punch cards. So that's what we had when we were in high school. So who would have dreamed that we would have had this? You know, we even had the old paper roller that looked like the machines they used to have in the.
It wasn't a laser printer. What was that called?
I don't know.
Dot metrics?
Yeah.
Metrics dot, something like that. I don't know. So I don't know how to say his name, but
you can highlight it.
Tiki? MIT.
So what does he say?
He says actually that what they're not telling us all is that the hydrocarbons are replenished deep within the earth, and depleted oil wells in Pennsylvania are now filling up again.
Well, that would be good. I'm not against gasoline cars. I used to own a gas station. This was back in the early 80s when there was a gas shortage. There was no gas shortage. We had gas every day. Never had problem getting gas. Tankers trucks came in every day.
Certain days of the week if your name ended in X, Y, or Z.
And they had all this stuff going on, and there wasn't any. Same thing. It was all about getting gas from 50 cents to 90 cents a gallon to get up to $4 a gallon. That's what it was back then, $3 or $4 a gallon. I got pictures.
$3.82.
Yeah, I never made it to $5, but I got pictures. I have pictures when I had my gas.
1981, 1982, something like that.
So we have pictures of all that, show you what the price signs were and all that, because I had a gas station. I had a Skelly station. And I bought out by Getty, which ended up being bought out by Texaco, and I don't know who the hell owns them now. But so I don't know. Nobody knows the future. But for motorcycles, well, here's a couple things we'll tell you. One, Harley-Davidson. Now, I'm not for sending bikes overseas and building them. Harleys, but I mean that 550 and the 650 that they were selling a couple years ago, where were those made at? Because those look like Jap bikes. I think those were the first ones that came out with like a 1250 looking style of motor. When I first seen them, they sound like I think they even had a radiator on them. They look like a Suzuki or a Kawasaki, and they didn't last. They're gone. But I mean, Art, my buddy, I think he still has his. That is, he bought for his granddaughter or his niece, and she ended up not being able to afford to pay for it. And he ended up buying it. So, but I mean, I don't know who built those.
You want to do an update on Art?
We seen Art.
And what's going to happen in October?
Well, he came on the other day and we talked about it. He's going to retire. And so the end of October, he's going to be retiring this year. And we're going to
finally retiring. Those of you that
we've been talking about it and talking about it and talking about it.
For 4 years.
Yeah. And so I quit talking about it because I thought, either he is or he isn't. Well, finally I think he's putting in his notice.
Tandy. It was Radio Shack.
And so hopefully next spring you'll see me and Art going out and doing some rides. He wants to start doing some stuff. He wants to come to some of the rallies and stuff like this. Let's see how his money goes because we'll be on a fixed income. We know how that works out.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons we're doing the sponsorships.
Probably could.
So, because typically what we're doing next year is our vacation will be Sturgis. And that's what we'll be going up there for. But the rest of the rallies that we're doing this year, besides the Bikes Blues and BBQ and Leesburg, are all the same rallies we've done last year, 2024. So we're still going to go down and do Daytona, and then we'll fly back home. Daytona, we got to kind of set up. We still don't have a motorcycle, but we have one of our people that we think are going to sponsor us is going to let us use a bike. So we'll be talking about him soon, which he's already been on our channel. And he wants us to do a bunch of stuff. So he wants us to call him in October, November, and chat with him and talk about this. If we come down to Biketoberfest, which I don't have to justify funds right now to do Biketoberfest. We got a place to stay. We'd have to fly in again and all that. I don't. Florida is expensive. It's going to cost us, I don't know, about $1,200 to fly round trip to Daytona and back. And I don't have the ticket for Leesburg because we can't buy them yet. They're too far out. So we still need a ticket to get to Leesburg, which is Orlando. And then we'll need another ticket to get home from Myrtle Beach. So right now we've got hotels booked. We do have a couple offers of people staying with them in smaller places. They don't have a very big place. One of them in Myrtle Beach has invited us to stay at his place. We might do that. I don't know yet. We got to look at the money and see how things are going. One of the sponsors that we thought we were getting, they're ghosting us. So I don't know what's going on with them. We have 2 other people that we're kind of thinking about it. That's going to be at this year's rally. And we're going to talk to them about this because what we're getting to the point of is we're going to start talking about our sponsors. Our sponsors are the people that we've gone after to be sponsors that sell great products. They have great service. They're going to take care of you because we guarantee it. So we're going to start getting away from a lot of the other vendors that we've talked to over the years, just for the fact that one of them, I don't want to put my name out. Some of these places are just too big. That they've got too many people working for them and things like that, and we don't really have a good contact with them anymore. So if there was a problem, I could run into my problem was we tell them that, the person I talked to that said we would give a guarantee, we would guarantee their products aren't out in the field anymore with us. So that's a problem. So now there's just so many people that do different stuff. So we're trying to keep the things that we sponsor are going to be people that are sponsoring us, are people that you've already seen. It's Camp Easy Ride. We stayed in his tents, great place. If you're thinking about riding into a rally, his next one's going to be Daytona Biketoberfest, and he's going to be over at Cabbage Patch. He's back in the woods, so it's going to be really cool back there. So it's going to be all set up. We've got so much. Hopefully I got the interviews. I think I do. That we've got.
For the people that were there.
I think we got some of those. I think I seen them when I was going through the videos that we talked to there. That just, it's the camaraderie is priceless. Is to meet people that you can go riding with. They've got hot tubs, cooling tubs. They have drinks, coffee. All this stuff is included in your price, and it's just really cool. He got a bus in Daytona and went down to Deadwood and gambled one night, and just a whole bunch of stuff that's going. It's just a cool thing, and he's one of our sponsors. So I couldn't say anything bad about him. And people everybody that we talk to that go to him, and there's other people now that are trying to start doing the same thing he does. I don't know if they'll be able to keep it at the level he does. He does this full time. This is his only job. His wife does have a job that she works remotely, but no, I guess she does. She's a nurse or something. I guess she works at the hospital or something. But they go around and travel. But
she's a traveling nurse.
But he flies to all the events and does all the stuff, and he's a biker. So he's been a biker all his life too. So great guy. So we've also got the fairing exchange. Nobody does better interferings than them. We don't really have anybody that does lighting, so I'm okay with them. Fairing exchange has got, what's her lighting?
Custom Dynamics.
Yeah, Custom Dynamics. You know, he does a great job. Any kind of custom dynamic lighting you can get from them. They do have stereos. I don't know much about. I think they might have the Hog stereos. I'm not sure which ones they have.
Works or something like that.
Not sure what stereos they have.
I think that's it.
We also have Joey at All About Customs. He's got the Orland shocks front and back, which we're probably going to end up putting some on our bike because they say they're better than Legends. So I don't know, but I would really like to see to say. But I know Orlands are up there too. Them and Legends, I would say, are probably the top two in the United States. There's a couple other companies out here. There's another one that's out of Florida, but they're just them. They don't go to all the rallies. So it's tough if you had a problem, something like that. You might have to wait a while to be able to get somebody to take care of you. So that could be a problem. So we got Joey. So Joey does the air ride suspension, which nobody does better air ride than Joey. He is so meticulous about. We got some stuff that was on videos that we shot in Daytona of his wiring harness. He has a complete wiring harness that's plug and play. You don't see all these wires. You wouldn't believe some of the bikes that some of them are people that you would think them. They're at the rallies, and he showed me some of these, and he's got pictures on his Facebook page. He doesn't call them out, but I would say, hey, this was done at this guy's place. You know, because that's why I tell you, you need to look at your bikes. If you're having lighting done or you're having air suspension put on your bike, you know, like a bike that's going to go up and down, stereos, things like that, speakers, you want to kind of check in while they're doing it so you can see what they're doing. You don't want to see, like, if your bike ends up having, you're broke down, you got to go to a dealership, they pull your fairing off and it looks like a spider web. What does Harley do? Snip, 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 because it's not factory. Get it out of my way. We got to get to what we need to fix. And there's nothing you can do about it. We hear that horror story all the time. But if you go to some of the guys that we recommend, you're going to see all that stuff's tightened up. It's all rolled up. It's out of the way. It's not going to be in the way of anybody doing work. Anybody that would cut that would be a moron now because they're cutting something that's not in their way, that they needed to work on the stereo or whatever it is. But I hear these horror stories from guys that go to other vendors, and a year or so later, they're at one of the other places that we talk to, and they open it up. Like this one had a stereo put in and amp wires, and when they took the gas tank off, the wires were laying on top of the cylinder heads, just laying there. So the guy paid $3,000 for the amp and speakers, and he said who it was, which I don't remember who it was. And I said, you need to stop. I said, you need to call that customer right now and have them come over here so you can show them what this person did, because they didn't know who did it. And so when they came over, they showed the guy, and he's like, wow, man, I just got done paying last year. I paid $3,500 or something for this. That's crap. And that's what I said to him as he walked away. I said, that's why I always say you should always look at your job before they button it down, just so you can see, okay, yeah, the wires are up there where they're supposed to be. You know, before you put that fairing back on, let me take a quick look at it real quick. Can you pull it back a minute? Okay, yeah, it looks good. Put it back on. You don't have to be an expert, but you can tell if it looks like a mangle of spider web there. That everything else, or look at it when they take it off and see how Harley put it all together. It should look exactly the same with maybe a couple more harnesses that are zip tied together or whatever they are, just not wires hanging loosely. That's just what we say. So that's the things that I look at when I do this, because you could even get a crappy job done by anybody, a dealership or anything. And I won't get into all that, but it's because they don't do a lot of experience with that. That's why I'm always so big with rallies, because people say, why do you have so much work done at a rally? My handlebars were done by Joey at All About Customs. You know how many handlebars he's probably done this year already? A couple hundred. How many handlebars do you think your mechanic at Harley's done this year? Maybe a dozen. So who's going to do a better job? Somebody that's got that kind of experience, that knows all the tricks, knows how to blow the wires through, knows that he needs to unpin it to do this and put a different adapter, whatever he needs to do it right, instead of cutting your wires and crimping stuff together. I've seen that too, where he's got one whole harness. It's one solid wire all the way back from front to back to the air shocks or whatever, to the compressor or whatever it is. And he's shown me bikes where people have cut the wiring harness and pieces in. Well, that's more resistance that you're going to have. You're going to have more problems with that. You're going to get corrosion in that. So there's a lot of, and it's like, and he shows me that. And he's like, why would somebody do that? Because they're cheap. They're just trying to, hey, if I can just cut this piece and stick another little piece on, and I have to buy any new wire, I'm recycling crap that I took off of other people's bike to make this one work right. And it'll work as it leaves, but you might have, if the wire comes loose, then you're kind of screwed. So who else we have is we have Ben, that is with
Wide Open Customs.
He does the fairings. So if you've got a bike that doesn't have a fairing on it, you've got a Street Glide, or maybe you've got a Heritage or a Softail, or you got a Trike. He's got fairings that are complete plug and play. You can get it with speakers in it, 4 speakers. You can get it with a radio, with the amp, everything. And they're removable. You can take it off anytime you want. You just have to unplug the power wire if you have stereo. But you could take it on and off. Once I put a fairing on, I'm not taking it off unless I'm working on it. But and it looks right. It looks just like factory. It can match your bike. It's just that's. She looked at one years ago, and we're glad we never bought it because that guy was screwed art years ago. But I mean, this would have been 20 years ago. She would have got one for her bike and would have spent over $1,500. And I'm not even sure if he's even that much now on his setup. So he's really good. It's all American made stuff that he's using. He makes the fairings and everything. He's got a mold.
He made one for his bike, and his buddy saw it and said, "Hey, can you make one for mine?" And then his buddy saw it, and they're like, "Can you make some more?" And then before you know it, that's his business. That's what he makes.
Yeah, makes fairings.
And now he's got a little factory, and he's got people helping him and making all these. And
all American made.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. He's another one of our sponsors that we have. And anybody else I'm forgetting? Oh, we also have our other basic one. Kathmandu is a sponsor because they put us up so well. Kathmandu Campground there in Sturgis. We also have Pig Trail Harley-Davidson. They're a sponsor because they're doing us with the bike. The Cat House, great bar if you're in Bikes Blues and Barbecue. If you're anytime in Eureka Springs, definitely that's the bar to check out. That's the place. That's where everything's going on. It's biker friendly. Right now, I don't know, during the event that BikeFest will have it, but right now it's 4 to 6 and they got happy hour. They got all kinds of food and drinks, and we're going to be eating there a couple of times. And they got iced tea, and
I love they have iced tea all the time, but they have it for Bob.
But they're not like a bar food. They actually have restaurant food. It's not necessary. You know, a lot of times you go to a bar, you got hamburgers, you got chicken stick or chicken whatever they're called, not chicken sticks, chicken
strips.
Yeah, chicken strips, bar food. And here they actually have a whole bunch of different stuff that they serve. So it's kind of cool and it's kind of neat. And we'll show you some of the food.
To work on the chopper.
And so, yeah, no work on the chopper.
Daytona Dave's on.
This whole time I've been home, we have not done anything. It is too freaking. Well, here's my problem that I have. If I start on that bike, I will not stop till I get the cylinders completely apart and ready to be sent off. And when I put it back together, it should hopefully go the same way. I will stay working on it till I put it back together and it runs. It'll all be done in one day, each day. Because I'm sending them off to have the pressure relief valves put in. I'm not doing it myself. And so I'm sending them off to Dark Horse. They're going to do them for me. And so however long it takes them to get it and get it back to me. I was hoping to have it all done now. But like I say, the shop is just so... When I go over there right now, we get in there in the morning now. It's already it's still in the 90s from last night. So the air conditioner, when I first started, it was about 89 degrees when we got home in the morning. So I kicked on the air conditioner and it was running. I could feel the cool air out of it. It wasn't too bad, but I mean, it's the plume is blowing out about my head length, so I could feel it blowing across my hair. And I had the unit in the studio is running. In the bathroom, we got one in there. I had those two running too with the doors open. And I noticed as I was in the shop, and I was just cleaning up. I was hanging those banners up and doing different things like that. And I seen the temperature, and it was 90, and it was 91, and it was like, you know, I'm done. It's about noon. I'm done. You're shutting it all down. And I've never turned the central air unit on again. It's possible that if we're here and I could have turned the air conditioner on sooner when the building was cooler, maybe. But I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take. I don't want to put a lower ceiling in it because if I end up deciding to get a car lift, I want to be able to raise my car up or my truck or whatever I'm lifting. I want to be able to raise it all the way up so I can stand underneath the car and work. So I don't want anything above me. I don't want to lower the ceiling down like we did in the office or in the studio or that we've got in the bathroom. It's got a lowered ceiling. So bathroom, you can actually freeze your butt off because it's a pretty good size air conditioner for a little bitty bathroom. And but it's cool. And the heat works good. So if it got, I could say we don't get down to zero here. You know, we might get into the like 30 something. We don't really even freeze here. But I mean, 35 or 40. I mean, it didn't take very long at all. Less than an hour, and I could get it up 10 degrees in the garage. So it's already like 50 in the garage no matter what. So that's the problem. So the hope is when we get back in October 3rd, we should be home. once I get everything situated, get my videos all done, then we'll go over to the shop. I still got a bunch of signs, posters to hang up that I've got framed that we need to hang up. I got to move some pictures around, hang that up. I got a couple spots in the wall I want to fix that I had my helmet that's back here on this thing. I need to move that because I put the bar over there, the Harley bar. And so once I get all that done, then I'm going to start working on the bike. And I get the cylinder heads off, and you'll see that. We will do videos on that, showing you what I'm doing. I might do a time lapse and put it on the pay channel. Probably put it on both. Probably put it on, at the lower price. Put it down on Patreon and then put it down here on this one because we don't put a lot of videos here where you can watch the whole time lapse. Not me talking or nothing, just a time lapse, maybe some music behind it or something. And that would be it. Other than that, I'm only going to show you clips.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff. We appreciate it. And helps us all out. And but yeah, it's so I'm hoping that I'm going to get all that once I get the gas tank off and start taking it all apart. And I'm hoping I'm gonna have to buy a piston ring compressor to put it back together. I'll have to measure the pistons. But I did find out I'm also going to be working on our ATVs. I found out on Amazon I can get carburetors for under $20. But you have to know the millimeter of the hole. And so I got a mic that we just bought. It's not mic, but a micrometer. And I will be able to do that. So I'm going to be putting carburetors on both of the two Chinese ones and also on my Polaris. Be doing that. And we'll do a little video of that too. Shouldn't be no big deal. Probably could do all three in the same day. But I mean, I got to pull them all off.
Last year. What? Adam Sandoval bought the campground in Eureka Springs last year. It was his last year. Right before, I think he agreed to help Flatheads, and then he bought that after he agreed, I think.
But, so I don't know what happened to Flatheads. It's a sore subject. So I don't know who.
Nobody wants to talk about it.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that. If it didn't, and it didn't go like I would have liked it to go on either. If I was putting that on. The problem with a lot of this stuff like this is getting the word out to people. You know, when you look at these kind of rallies, like if you go to Bikes Blues BBQ all the time, or you go to Ocean City, or you go to Leesburg really doesn't change. All the stuff is in the same place. There's not a lot of, it doesn't take a lot of figuring out what to do. It's like Ocean City. We're a good example right now. We don't know crap about Ocean City. We know a few things being there last year, but the same thing. We showed up on Wednesday and we left on Sunday or Monday. And we weren't there a long time for us to be able to figure this out, where everybody's at and what's going on, what's happening. That's why we love to get there so early to where we can check out all the stuff that's going on.
Ask questions and find out.
Because when we get to Daytona this year, the plan is to be there by Tuesday or Wednesday. Before. And so we have about 3 or 4 days to kind of start looking at what's going on to give you a heads up before you get there. So that's what I like. But the rallies that we just show up and it starts the next day, we really don't, because actually this one starts on Wednesday. It's actually opening day is Wednesday. But the bad news, when you start looking at all this stuff, more of the people that come to these small rallies are coming out for Friday and Saturday. That's it. They're leaving on Sunday. So they're not there for the week. It's not a week-long rally. And most people don't figure, why am I taking off on Wednesday? Why do I want to get down there that early? If nothing's, the good bands are going to be on the weekends. It depends on what you want to do. Me, I like to ride. I like to get there early to do some riding and stuff like that, or checking things out and stuff. But people that are local and they just go to it every year, it's like here when we used to have the Laughlin River Run, it was 250 miles for us to ride out here. We came out here every year, and we pretty much did the same rides every year, and went to all the same places and did all the same stuff. And but it was good for. But I mean, I guess we came out most of the time. We came out for the full. Whole time for the rally. We would stay. I think it started like on a Wednesday or something and went Laughlin River Run. I think it was Wednesday to Sunday or something.
Yeah. I don't know. I was trying to think. I think we might have came down Friday.
The first couple of times we came, we drove a car. Second time we came, I think we took my Honda that I had, my Goldwing I had. And after that, then we rode Harley after that. And, but,
nice.
And we did that every year until they quit having it.
But his campground in Eureka Springs. it's not real big.
No.
Not as big as this one in Oklahoma.
No. So he's got a bunch of teepees this year or something. He's going to be renting out glamour tents. He's kind of taking the same thing like from Camp Easy Ride and stuff and trying to kind of do the same thing. You get an air mattress on a stand, a little table and a fan and different things like that he's put into. I have no idea what he's charging. But he doesn't have a lot of full hookups. I think his whole campground might have a dozen if it has that many. I mean, I don't know. He could have 2 dozen, but he doesn't have any. I don't think there's even that much. We drove through it. It's actually on the video from last year. You can actually see us drive through his campground.
Did we drive through it? I thought we just drove past it.
I drove into it. And because I wanted to see how big it was.
So Nicholas wanted to know if we'd ever eaten at a A&W restaurant. Yes, and I love root beer. So
we used to eat at A&W when they were really all A&Ws. Back when the
Mama
root
burger,
beer,
Papa burger, baby burger.
Yeah, the root beer came out of a barrel.
Yeah.
And so that's going back into the 70s is when in our town we had the original A&Ws. Then we got a fancy one that had a fireplace in the middle and all that stuff.
Yeah.
There was one on the Beltline.
Yeah.
And the other one used to be on the other end of town.
So R. Wilmer wants to know your top 3 rallies and why.
Well, number one's always Sturgis. And you've already kind of heard that. Why? Because it is the best riding. You can go out, like I said, I just got done talking to my neighbor. Second time he's been there. He was there for 2 weeks this time. Last time he was on there for 3 or 4 days. He says, I got to go back next year for 3 weeks. There's so much stuff I didn't get to do. That's the point. Second thing with Sturgis is no business closes up for Sturgis. Every town, anywhere within about a 75 to 100 mile radius welcomes bikers. Most of them give you preferred parking. If they don't close their street down, they have parking just for motorcycles on their main drag. Some of them are on a highway. You can't close it down. And then the people that go there. You don't see, like a lot of people have been talking about this, and I've never seen it either all the years we've been going. I've never seen a fight in Sturgis. Not saying there isn't, but we've never seen one.
Well, we don't stay out real late.
But we have seen bars, like we've been down in Daytona and Galveston, and we've seen people get thrown out of bars and because they were fighting or whatever. So you do see, someplace like that. So that's really the 3 things. So the next one is I really like Bikes Blues and BBQ. Why? Because it's kind of the same thing. They've got some good riding. Now, I haven't got to spend enough time down there to see how good the riding is. It is in the Ozarks. If you know anything about the Ozarks, that's where we're more Illinois, Missouri people to start with. That's where we lived most of our life. Pretty soon we'll probably almost live just as much out of that area. Yeah. But
so probably for 42 years.
Yeah. So we lived in that area, Illinois, Missouri. And so we've been out on the West Coast ever since. So I like the rides. I really like Eureka Springs. It's just a really cool little town. It's just, I don't know what it is. It's just really cool. It's the businesses. People are very friendly, very nice. Rdgers, I don't know. I like Pig Trail Harley. There's an Indian dealer over there too. There's a Honda dealer. Both of them are pretty big dealerships. Pig Trail has a lot of vendors. All the ones we're talking about now are all going to be over there. They also have a small dealership, which actually isn't really that small. They could be a full set. Their building probably is bigger than a lot of regular small town dealerships, and it just sells T-shirts. And but it's a big building. I don't know what it was before, or if it was always that. But they're supposed to fix that. It's kind of like in this little western town is around it. I don't know what used to be there, but the last time we were there, everything was kind of closed up. They used one for a wholesale outlet store. But they're supposed to have now a restaurant and a couple other things. They said they were going to kind of make it a couple years ago, but then because with pandemic and all that, they kind of nobody wants to spend money.
Fizzled out.
Don't know what's going to happen. So they
had just bought all that area.
Yeah. So they're going to make it more biker friendly area. That's kind of cool. So I like that. And then typically you meet really friendly people there too. You don't really see any real trouble. You can stop and talk to somebody, get directions from a local and stuff like that. They're not going to hound you and stuff. They do that. I don't think that down in Eureka Springs, I don't think they close Main Street down. I don't think it's ever really officially closed down, but I think they fix it to where only certain places, only bikes can park. So the cars can't park. No, in Eureka Springs. You can park around the courthouse and a bunch of different places down there. You can park right on the main drag. And they got some cool stores there, but we didn't spend a lot of time there. It's more of a local town. So I like that. That's my second choice is Bikes, Blues, and BBQ. My third choice would probably be Rocky Point in Mexico. That would be my third choice. Why? Because it's just wild. It is. I wished I would have back in there early 80s. I wished I would have done Sturgis and some of these other bike rallies. I wished I would have got a little bit more involved. Back then, I belonged to AMA, and I did a lot of rides with the AMA, American Motorcycle Association. I joined that when I had my Honda and did rides with them and different events that they had going on. But I never really went on a longest ride we rode was like 250 miles one way. And I went up to Chicago or something, 300 miles. And that's about as far as we ever really rode at that time. And so I wished, but so this rally, when you go down there, it'd be probably the closest thing to something that's old school. There really is no rules. Some girl wants to walk down the street with her top off, probably even with her bottoms off. Nobody cares. Well, people look at it, but I mean, they're not going to get arrested. The federales aren't going to beat them over the head. Nothing. It seems like as long as you're not hurting anybody or shooting anybody, they don't care what you're doing down there. People put all the side bags on everybody's bikes was full of ice and beer. They were popping their beers and drinking them on Main Street, or I don't know what that street's called, but it's all closed down just for the bikes at night. And it was just the wildest thing I've ever seen. And they got a lot of cool events down there. It's only a 3-day rally. I think it's pretty much Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. But it's once you go, like Adam Sandoval, he's been going. I think the first year we went was the first year he went, in 2021, and he's gone every year since. And he's down there all the time. And but it's not much for content because a lot of it you can't show because it's a little too risque. And but it'd be fun with a group.
So just go down there and have fun, not really videotape and.
I even want to videotape some of it, but I mean, I wouldn't be pumping videos out when we're down there. I would just go down there to have fun and at that. And I think Adam Sandoval is talking about a ride from Phoenix on November 7th, straight down there, and then staying at this resort. You can get a rate. I don't know what the rate is. I didn't check on it. And then ride back with him. So you're going down in a group. You can feel a little more safer. We didn't have any trouble. We ended up tagging in behind a couple guys until they got up to 90 miles an hour, and then we ended up pretty much riding most of it by ourselves. But once you got on the main road going into Mexico, it's just straight shot right into Rocky Point. And
so, John, when we go to Rapid City, we stay at Rushmore Shadows, and then we'll be there for 2 weeks, and then we'll go over to Kathmandu, just like we did this year, like probably around June 23rd, something like that. And then that's where we'll be. So Neil says yes. Somebody else said that they'd love to move out to the Black Hills. They live in Sturgis, but the prices are just nuts right now.
Oh yeah. Somebody just saw, I guess Ray across the street. That's what he said. You guys ever think about buying out? We did. We looked when we first started doing this in 2020. We got out to Sturgis a week early, and we started looking for some property. Because what I'd like to have bought was I wanted to get something like it had maybe an old mobile home on it. Take that off, and hopefully it was on a concrete pad. If it wasn't, put a concrete pad down and put like a carport on it that we could back the trailer into. That way, if I wanted to leave it there, I could. They already had electric and water and a septic or sewer, whatever they got for a hookup. And thought, let's see what we could do. So we looked around. We found a lot. Found this little lot. It was 50 feet across the front and about 75 or 80 feet going back. Had this old beatable trailer on it. $90,000. This is in 2020. And I'm like, no. I got an acre of ground. I paid $60,000 for it. But I could do anything on it. So no, I wasn't going to pay that kind of stupid money. Right now, Sturgis, anywhere in the Sturgis, there is places you can go, but I haven't looked, and I'm not going to broadcast it here. If you want to buy something, let me know. There's a few towns that are around Sturgis that a couple people have told me you can buy some older homes and get a reasonable price. But we've known some people that have bought some houses right there on the main drag in Sturgis, and little bitty houses they paid $300,000 or $400,000 for, which are really worth about $75,000. We got right down to it, but it's too many people. And then you got a lot of people are moving out there that have money that are going out and buying ranches out there. They're buying 25 or 50 acres and having a house built and all this stuff because they came from someplace and they got it at a good, you can probably buy a lot of acreage and you probably could get a better deal than trying to buy something in the city limits of Sturgis or
out there by off that Alkaline Road. That one property was
yeah, but you decided to put all your utilities in.
I know. It had nothing on it. It was just a piece of land.
Yeah. And it was like an acre of ground. It was 5 acres. 5 acres for like $160,000, which isn't too bad. But you got to find out what all the utilities are going to cost you. If you got to put an irrigation septic tank in, you could be spending $50,000 for that. And the problem is it's hard to get people out there to do any work because there's not a lot of people out there that do all this kind of work. So it's tough. We have one of our subscribers has actually bought some property. They're hoping to be building something. They were hoping by the winter time they'd have something built, didn't they? By the first year or something. What they were saying.
Well, they're going to be staying in their trailer, and they said if it got too cold, they were going to rent something in town for the winter.
But they want to start building. Yeah. But I mean, we'll have to see how long it takes them to get it all done. And but yes, I would love to have something up there. But I don't want something I'm going to live in because I don't like the snow. We don't like it cold. We go outside, it's 115, 117 degrees. She's like,
I'm like, this feels good. I like it hot. I don't like it humid. I like it hot.
So that's why we're here. And because of her health and all that, it makes her feel better in the sun and the heat and all that stuff versus cold and damp and all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, I would love to own something in Sturgis, but I don't think it's ever going to happen in my lifetime that we'll get anything.
Not unless we win the lottery. We're never going to have work because we don't play it.
Yeah, you can't win if you don't play.
Nope.
Well, somebody sends me a ticket.
Oh, we love you, Jeff.
So, but it's so what's going on now is pretty exciting. Because like I said, we're getting ready to head out here on Tuesday over to Vegas, and we might do a quick live not a live, but maybe a short, or maybe we'll do a live. I don't know what we're going to do. We got to see how soon we can get in the hotel. Typically check-in times like at 4. I'm hoping to get there earlier. We're probably going to go over sometime in the morning time, probably. Leave here at 9 o'clock, get over there by 11 or something. And then, because the car, anytime after 3:30, I can drop the car off. We're putting it in a garage. We thought we had somebody taking us out there, and ended up, it just didn't all work out. It was going to be in problems. And we could move the airline tickets to another time, but we've already moved it once. So if you move it the next time, that if you had to move it again, you lose your money. And I wasn't going to do that. And I didn't want to put that chance on, because if something did happen that we couldn't fly out for some reason, I'd like to have that avenue. So we moved it because our daughter wanted us to stay a week with her. So when we get to Tulsa, she's coming down to pick us up, and then we're going to fly out of Wichita on that last week of September. And then we go back to Vegas.
2nd.
So we already had the tickets bought, and we had changed them, and actually they were the same price. So it was all within a couple of days. Well, now it would have cost us $160 more for it. And then we had issues with, well, then she's got to go to the doctor back in California on Monday. So,
7.
And so we would have got back on Sunday night. And I'm like, no, I'm not getting, she has to be at the doctor at 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, no, I'm not getting up at 6 o'clock and driving all the way to California, 250 miles. No. And so we just left everything like it was. And I decided it's $195 to park the car in a garage, and we'll just pay that and be done with it. It's didn't want to spend the money, but I would have had, the people who took us, I would have ended up buying them dinner anyway. So we probably would have spent at least $100 probably for both people buying them dinner anyway. So maybe even more. So it is what it is. Yeah. This way we got a vehicle to drive around with until we check in. And then we're going to leave the car we're dropping the car off on Tuesday night, the little truck. And then we'll Uber back to the hotel. And then, because our flight leaves at 6:45. So by 5, at least by somewhere between 4:30 and 5, we need to get to the airport so we can get in there and get our luggage and all that stuff checked in and all that kind of good stuff.
Yep. So what else was I gonna say? That Mark was on. I wanted to know how he was feeling. He's the one that stayed in front of Sherry's trailer.
Oh, okay.
And because he had that accident, so I just wanted to know how he was doing. He was on a while ago. I don't know if he's still on or not. But I just wanted to say a shout out to Mark and see how he was doing and how he was feeling. I saw Nicole was on earlier, and I've seen some pictures. She went out to lunch with one of her friends the other day, so that's kind of cool that she's out and about.
Oh, that other girl, Sissy is what they go by. She's one of the ones that got ran over at the Buffalo Chip by somebody drunk on a motorcycle. I'm assuming it was a motorcycle. She died last week. Or maybe it was this week.
This week.
Yeah, it was last week. Yeah, it would be last, because this is the new week now. So sometime last week she died. I put it on our Sturgis page.
I thought she was going to hit the guardrail.
Maybe she is. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
She hit the guardrail. It's the other girl I don't know. I'd have to look at the thing.
One passed away.
Yeah, the one going by Sissy, she died. She didn't make it. So the other one we haven't heard any more about. So what did we have? 12 people die? Is that what we had in Sturgis?
Well, there was what, 4 before and 3 during, so it was 7, and then
so this will be another one. This will be 8. So we've had 8 fatalities in Sturgis during the motorcycle rally, and I don't know about the other girl if she's going to make it or not. She's been kind of off and on too, so I people keep praying for her, and I pray for her too. That I hope it all recovers, but I mean it's I don't know.
Miracles happen.
That's right. Anything good can happen. You know, they found that guy for 5 days that in Idaho that got hit the deer and went off the road in the ditch, and his buddies left him stranded. And
that's what he can't get over.
And it's the same thing with me. If we had like Art, if he stops, with normally on a trip I wouldn't do this anyway. If somebody needs to stop and pick something up, hey, I got to go to the bathroom. We all stop and use the bathroom. That's just the way it is. And we wait, and I tell everybody, you know, we're here 15 minutes. Everybody needs to be back out here in 15 minutes. We're heading out. You know, 15 minutes we pull out, and then we know the next stop that you're at. So the next stop is wherever it's at. And because usually when I do a trip, we usually most of the time about every 100 miles we're stopping someplace. Just get off the bike, stretch a little bit, move around, go to the bathroom, whatever you can do, and get a snack, time for lunch, whatever you're doing. And so if somebody it's like Art. One time it was only a 13-mile ride that his front fork blew a seal out of the front and just covered him in oil. And he was sitting on the side of the road. Well, by the time we got to Oatman, we started calling him. We had no phone service.
Oh, I don't think we quite made it. You said, "Where's Art?" You kept looking. I'm riding on the back of his bike, and he's looking in his rearview mirror. Where's Art? Where's Art? Do you see where Art went? I'm like, is he behind me? So we stopped and waited a few minutes and didn't see him. So we turned around and went back, and he's standing on the side of the road.
So we ended up getting a tow truck and all that, and got him towed in. But I mean, that same thing. I look in the mirror, and I would have never left. If we're on a long trip like that, I wouldn't leave somebody unless your bike's broke down. Your bike's broke down and you're going to be at the Harley dealer for a couple of days, then yeah. We'll see you if you make it to Sturgis, or we'll see you when we get back home. You know, whatever. I'm not going to spend 3 days with you, but if you needed to stop and get something or pick something up, or hey, I need to get some Tylenol at the drugstore. Well, we can all pull in the drugstore for a few minutes and you can get what you need. So I don't know why they left this guy. And then they never even, I guess it wasn't until nightfall when they finally figured out, well, I guess he'll show up sometime. And they get up in the morning and he still didn't show up. And then now they're going back looking for the guy. Well, then nobody knows whether, and that's what it is. I would never leave. Somebody said that today. They actually looked up in I don't know where it came from. What is a real biker? They always got people saying that. I always say real bikers don't call themselves bikers. They call themselves brothers. Normally more of a 1% group or you would really consider that. And some people call themselves enthusiasts. It doesn't really matter what the hell you call yourself. But I mean, but that's what this one person looked up, said what they considered a real biker is somebody that would not leave somebody behind, would always be there to help others. And that's what you would see. And
the majority of bikers are like that I've ever seen.
And it is just it's like that lady we seen bust her head on the concrete, drop the bike. And we were going to stop. Well, already a car had stopped and 3 guys jumped out and 4 other bikes stopped. And it's like, there's enough people. We'll move on. We weren't there to film. We were there to help the lady get back up or see what she needed or call her an ambulance or whatever she would have needed.
Oh, it's almost right in front of the hospital.
And so a lot of times when we pass people on the road, sometimes we'll slow down and kind of look at them and kind of wave like, are you just stopping because you're going to use your phone? Are you stopping? You just see a couple standing next to their bike on the side of the road. And you look at them and you kind of wave. And if they just kind of wave back, well, you figure they're okay. If they go, stop, well, then we pull over and chat with them and see, hey, what do you need? Oh, you got no phone service and a bike quit running. All right, let's figure out. We'll count the miles to the next exit. We'll stop and we'll call and have a tow truck or whatever come get you, and move on. But you at least give them, give some kind of support. And I think most people, just like Cam said, most people probably would do that. That's on a motorcycle. You would stop and check on people and see if, and you wouldn't leave your buddy at the side of the road, or you wouldn't leave your buddy at a gas station and go ahead and running 75 or 80 miles an hour down a highway and hope that he's going to catch up. Well, he's not. And I don't know. I don't know why somebody would do that, but I don't know. I don't know the guys he rode with, and I don't know the predicament of what happened. Maybe he told them, just go on. I'll meet you guys tonight at the hotel. Maybe he said that. Well, if he told me that, I would say, are you sure? And if he said, yeah, don't worry about it. Okay. That's your choice. I'm going. So I wouldn't have a problem with that if that's what you said. And because everybody is a little different. So we had Art one time, and he was with us someplace. And halfway through the ride, he says, I'm done. I'm going home. And I'm like, what do you mean? Where we're going? And he's like, I think him and one of the girls got into it or something. And so he rode back on his own. And so when we got home, we called him. Say, hey, Art, did you make it home? Yeah. What's going on? No, I don't want to talk about it. Okay, that's fine.
I often cringe at people riding out there in a blind corner with 60 miles an hour or more. Deer or herds are out there, and you could be 30 or more on the road. There's no way you could hit one or more. I know. You can't really stop when you are doing that, especially when you're in a big group. I'm just thankful we made it when we did the Sons of Silence ride.
We had it in San Diego a couple years ago. I don't know how many years. It could be 10 years ago. I don't think it was that long ago. But there was a bike. I don't know if it was a hog group or what it was. They were out on a ride. Well, what ended up happening was a car jerked out to make a pass the bikes or coming at them or whatever. And one of the bikes got clipped. And it took out like 10 bikes. And like 4 people died from that. And they were all doing the speed limit. They were riding down a 2-lane highway. Never would have dreamed anything would have happened. And we see that a lot. I see, it's like I'll watch the stuff on Tail of the Dragon, and somebody put that on Facebook the other day about bikes that pass you in your own lane. And a bunch of people said, I've never seen that. Well, one, you've never rode on Tail of the Dragon. I've never rode there, but I can see the pictures. I can hear the people talk. They do it there. Second one is Mulholland Drive up in California. You get up there by the rock store and all that. Those crotch rockets come flying by you. They don't even tell you they're coming. All you hear is, wow, and they're gone.
Scares you to death.
Yeah, because you're riding along. And luckily, they're in your lane. They're sharing your lane. Typically, you should flag people by. Now, there was a couple people that came on this Facebook post and said, that's disrespectful. Somebody passing me in my lane and all this stuff. And it's like, dude, if you're too slow or you're just sightseeing or maybe you're just out for a Sunday cruise, why not let somebody on a busy road pass you in your lane? And what you do is you pick whatever side you want, the right. Normally, I take the right side. I move closer to the white line and I give them a motion to come on by. That way I can grab my handlebars. I'm aware of them coming by and they can ride on by. They wave, I wave, and I can move wherever I was originally at. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's common courtesy. And the people on Iron Mountain, the speed limit's 35. I'm doing 35 and that should be fine. Once again, you're only thinking about yourself. And that's not what bikers are all about. We're supposed to be considerate of others. If somebody wants to drive at 80 miles an hour and kill themselves, more power to them. If the guy can ride at 90 miles an hour and hug all the corners and do great, more power to him too. If you want to drive 35 miles an hour and do the speed limit, that's fine. If you want to do 10 miles an hour, nothing wrong with that either. Cops might stop you, but nothing wrong with it from my book.
But if you look behind you and there's like 20 bikes or 3 cars and 10 bikes, pull over and let them all pass.
Yeah. And find a safe place.
When we do that, when we're riding in the trailer and we're driving and it looks like there's a line behind us, we'll pull over and let them go on by.
Yeah. So why should I hold them up? Because I got a trailer and I can't go around the curves as fast as they do. So
Jeff gave us another super sticker.
Thank you. Appreciate that,
Thank you, Jeff.
And but I mean, it's you just gotta have. And I don't know why people get this way. Where, like I say, we were on, I don't know if it was Needles Highway or Iron Mountain, and this guy was just all over the road. And I couldn't pass, and I kept moving back and forth. I got close to him, I pulled back. Guy never even looked in the mirror at me. And it's like, what an asshole. And it's like, what are you trying to prove? And it's not disrespectful. Well, you do have to watch. If you see a 1% group riding, you're not supposed to pass them. You could end up with some issues. But typically, if you, like we did this a long time ago. It was the Rdgers. They were all riding up to Street Vibrations. And the first 2 guys we passed because they didn't have any shirts on. It's cold. It's like 35 degrees. And these 2 guys got no shirts on them. We fly by them and they got old ratty Harleys. And I'm like, what the hell are these assholes? We pull up and we're like, oh crap, those were some
Brogans.
No, they were when you first start out.
Oh, prospects.
Prospects. Because there's all kinds of weird things you got to do to be a prospect. So that was those 2 guys. So we're like, oh crap. We're looking and it's like there's probably 50 of them. And we're looking and thinking, we pull in this little town and it's like, it's 11:30. It sounds like, so I point up and the guy leading pulled into this restaurant, and we decided, let's eat dinner or eat lunch early. So give them time to get ahead. So by the time we got done eating lunch, got back on the bikes, they were pulled over in a rest area, all sitting. And so as soon as we seen them, it's like, let's open her up. We're going to get far enough ahead. They ain't going to get nowhere near us. And never seen them again. But I mean, it's you just got to be courteous, respectful for people. It's not the end of the world. You know, if I was riding a trike out there on Iron Mountain or Needles Highway, and there once again there's bikes behind me or cars, I'm gonna find Iron Mountain Needles Highway is great because they got all these little turnouts. It's great for you to pull over. You're not being. If you can't do that, you really shouldn't be doing the ride. That's really what it rolls down to. You really aren't a biker. You're not an enthusiast. You couldn't even keep up with. Yeah, we had one trike going out to Deadwood time, and I was up to him all the way until he got to the really tight curves, and the guy was pulling way ahead of me. And I was like, I don't know how the hell this guy's doing 80 miles an hour. I was doing like 65 in the 35-mile-an-hour zone. And I'm not looking to go. I wasn't really ready. I wasn't in the mood to ride fast to start with. I'm already 15, 20 miles an hour over the speed limit anyway. So, and this guy was pulling away from me, and I was like, go for it, dude. Go for it. I'm okay with that. But it was 4 lanes, so there was plenty of lane for people to pass and things like that. And then going to Deadwood and Deadwood, it's got the extra lanes. You can pass people in. And I don't always expect cars to always pull over because they're not courteous. People don't realize that. But when we had it the other day, we were driving something and a car pulled over. I don't think we were on the bike. I don't know where we were at. Something we just did in the last week. I don't remember. Maybe we were in California or something, and a car pulled over on the side of the road, and we just kind of waved and thought, I guess they pulled over because we were right up on them. I wasn't that close, but I mean, I was a car length back. And for quite a while, a couple of miles, 5-6 miles, I don't know what it was. And so finally they pulled over, and then we went on by, and so they were very courteous. And that's what people should show a little more of that when you're out riding and things like that. And because everybody rides different levels. And if more people did that, you'd have less people complaining about people that get on these like Tail the Dragon or Iron Mountain or Needles Highway or any of these rides at Von Knocker Road coming down the hill. There's some of us that it's a challenge for us. That's part of the fun of riding a bike is to take those 35-mile-an-hour turns and do 55 or 60 in them and lean the bike all the way down. You know, sparks fly up. You know, that's part of the fun of why we ride a bike.
It would be like that. Just think what the world would be like if everybody was nice and courteous to everybody.
It's right. It'd be a different place.
It would be.
We wouldn't see all this crap that's on the internet.
We wouldn't have a whole lot of trouble that we do in the world right now. We've been on for 2 hours.
Holy smokes. So does anybody have any questions about Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue or Ocean City? Is anybody on here going?
A few people are. They said they'd hope to see us there.
So we're probably, I don't know.
Like I said, if you don't, where's this at?
So Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue, I don't know. On Friday.
Email us if we don't have your contact information. Email us your phone number, and I'll text you back our phone number. So if you're going to either one of those events, and hopefully we'll be able to meet up because these 2 events shouldn't be quite as hectic as like Sturgis and stuff was.
Well, we're looking at probably either Friday around lunchtime or Saturday around lunchtime, maybe a little before lunch. We're probably going to do a meet and greet at the Cat House.
Send me your number.
I see Riding the Ozarks is having one, I think, Friday. We might link in with him. I haven't contacted him and reached out to him yet or not.
Where's that one going to be at?
The Cat House.
Okay.
And because I think Friday might be a better day because Saturday everybody's going to be there and try to get in there at lunchtime. It'd probably be hard to get a crowd in there. We can go up on the second floor and do something. So watch our Facebook page, and we'll try to do a short or something saying, hey, here's where we're going to be. So we're probably going to do one. I'm probably going to say Friday down at the convention center where all the vendors are at. We'll probably pick some time there mid-morning and do a meet and greet there. So those will be 2 places you can actually come and find us. We'll probably be at one of the vendors. I'll have to tell you which one it is. I don't know what we'll do yet. But once we get there on Wednesday, we can kind of look around and we'll let you know.
Jim wants us to find the best barbecue place down there. Did we eat barbecue at Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue? You think they'd have barbecue there somewhere?
Well, they did.
We went to that one restaurant that was in Fayetteville, in between Fayetteville and Rdgers.
Yeah.
That wasn't bad.
No.
But they do have a really good chicken place. That's where we eat that chicken, isn't it? It's a home style, family style chicken dinner. That was pretty good. I don't know if Deb and Steve was on, they'd tell you the name of it. I don't remember the name of it, but anyway, it's a good place. When we find out what it is, we'll.
So there's a couple places. We'll probably more or less we'll be in Eureka Springs more than we'll be in Rdgers. Rdgers will probably be 2 to 3 times we'll be over there. Besides picking the bike up, pick the bike up on Tuesday, and then
drop it off on Sunday.
And so Tuesday we'll go around the lot and see if anybody's there or who's going to be there, and then Wednesday we'll probably be back over there. Thursday we'll probably be back over there again for a couple hours. We're just still haven't figured out everything that's going on with Bikes Blues and BBQ because there was a lot of things last year, and I think a lot of places pushed out for this, and it didn't turn out real well for them, so they stopped it. There was a convention center or something in Rdgers that had a Harley truck ad, and had a couple other bikes there that you could ride. They had a stunt show, a few vendors. I mean, they had a guy selling siding. They had the vendors down on Main Street. And then Pig Trail, of course, has their stuff that's going on. That's kind of the 3 main things.
Pig Trail has mostly
vendors.
Yes.
But they have bands
motorcycle
there.
vendors.
Yeah. So during the day, they'll have, they got bands playing down there. Out in Eureka Springs, the dealership out there, they'll have, it's part of Pig Trail. They'll have bands there during the day playing. Mostly at night, you end up having to go to one of the bars. There's a couple of different ones there. The Cat House is mainly the only main bar that we kind of hang out at. There's another one that we had stopped at last year that was kind of like a German theme. And I don't remember what that was called. Was it the Angry Beaver or something? That bar, it was
something
kind of
like that.
It was kind of like a
well,
German.
It's funny because everybody kept saying, you need to go there, you need to go there, you need to go. And we finally went, and
service was bad.
Horrible. And there wasn't that many people. We had to wait for a table, and then they sat us, didn't wait on us. All these other people sat, got their drinks, food. 1 people already left, and they got there after us, and they hadn't even taken our order yet. And it was like, come on. And finally, I don't know, we finally got our food and ate and left. But it was late, and I don't know. It
wasn't what we expected. No. And I think it was the Angry Beaver. I think it was the name of the place.
Yeah.
Not saying, I don't know. Maybe it's just a bad night we were there.
The Rowdy Beaver.
Rowdy Beaver, there you go.
Yeah, the CVMA Flash said that. So I think he's from out there.
And like I say, maybe we just had a bad night. The waitress we had for our table just wasn't paying attention. I don't know what the story was. This was last year.
Because all the people around us was all by the same waiter. That's why I'm like, are we like invisible, or what is the story? Do we smell, or I don't know. I mean, we didn't have drinks. We didn't have nothing. I don't know. But anyway, sometimes. Oh, the Ozark Cafe. They said that they've got, is that where they have good burgers? Or no, it's OARK Cafe. XM Biker says.
But there's a couple of places. We went to that one place. What was that one place we went to? It was on that other road where the dealership is a little bit farther down on the left. Well, I think we ate there twice. That little rock parking lot, and then you went inside and ate. And we ate there a couple of times. Yeah, and that was okay.
Well, because that was not too far from where we were staying.
Yeah, you come out of there.
But, yeah, we did eat there twice. That one wasn't too bad. I think it wasn't like extraordinary, but it was okay. It was good to stop and eat. We got lost and found it. I'd be an Angry Beaver too. So anyway. Yep, Tony, we're still on the live, but we're just about wrapping it up here.
Yeah. Was there football on tonight? We haven't been watching to see. Yeah. Is official Sunday night football? Is it already started?
I think it was tonight was the first night. Yeah, because it was supposed to be the Eagles and the Chiefs and somebody else. I've been seeing it advertised.
How many people we got on?
50.
It's kind of slow tonight. Watching, and that could be part of my problem why we're not getting many views on the last couple of videos. Is people are watching more sports and stuff like that. But I mean, I don't know why.
Kids, probably 100% of schools are back in session now. So school's back in session, and then now there's football games for high school, and kids are back the swing of things. So could be a lot of reasons.
And it could be. We'll see how this all turns out. Well, as I say, I'm done with putting videos out till we get to.
That's okay, Tony.
So we got a video tomorrow, Monday. I made that last week, so that one's coming out. It's just some things that you might think about.
Oh, we did eat there. The Rockin' Pig. We ate that one too.
Oh yeah.
Remember, it was kind of down in the thing, in the hole. Well, not in a hole, but it was
down a road.
Yes. Yeah, we did. I'm pretty sure we ate at that one.
So tomorrow's video is all about some things you might think about that you don't know that goes on in Sturgis, different events to kind of check out. So that's something that we put on the best I could for the footage I still had left that I could use. If you just came in, we had a lot of trouble with hard drives. I lost a bunch of all my video, all my week of Sturgis is gone. All that footage on the hard drive is gone. I don't know what the story is. I'm going to try to recover it, but no guarantee.
Oh, well.
So right now we don't have.
Do it all over again.
So tomorrow, Tuesday night, we might come on with something quick. I don't know if we'll just do a short or if we'll maybe not do anything. Wednesday, when we get into Eureka Springs or into Ocean City, depending on, we're hoping to be there around 4 o'clock. But it just depends on how fast we get a rental car and all that. Everything's already ready to go. But I mean, how long it takes to get there, get our luggage and all that
real
crap.
Far away. Good.
And oh yeah, I guess is that the one you had to take the bus to too?
Mm-hmm.
And so you got to stand in line and all. It depends on how many people. I don't know where I even rented the car from, or it's all off of Orbitz. And so I don't know what rental place we got the car from, depending on how many people's in front of us. If we get there first, then because usually that's what I tell her. We'll get all the suitcases off the bus, and I said, "You stand here. Let me go in and get the car real quick. Beat these people getting off the bus. We're all getting the cars at the same time." So hopefully we get that, get back on the road right away. Traffic's not too bad. Of course, it's 4 o'clock, and get down to Ocean City. And so we'll see how it all turns out. So hopefully we'll get there, and it'll still be light to where we can get some shots of what's going on. If it's already dark, you're probably not going to hear. We might do a short just telling you we made it. We're here, and that's it. So then you'll see, hopefully by Thursday night, we'll do something. Maybe on Thursday I'll do a live, and then we'll have a video for Friday because we'll have to see what the internet is. I don't think the internet was the greatest in the world last time we were there.
I don't have. Well,
we got 2 hotspots, I
guess
we didn't have that one back then.
Anybody that's gotten their visible phone from us or through us or whatever, they've changed now. So now they're T-Mobile.
No, Verizon owns it.
No.
Verizon bought them out.
So yeah, the great hotspot deal we had.
Well, the hotspot is still unlimited, but they're throttling you down to 5 or 10 depending on which package you have. So I complained about that this year when we were in Daytona. I had like 250 going up, and I checked the computer and it's like 5, and I'm like, what is it? The phone? Is it? So she called and they did a bunch of stuff and they didn't say nothing about this. Well, then on Facebook, somebody posted that they were talking about the visible phone and saying they were having trouble with connections and all this. And then I did some research, and it was true. Verizon has bought out Visible. The prices are still good. It's still a good deal. Unlimited. There's no taxes. Everything's included in the price. And so I'm not looking to get rid of it. I'm just not using it as a hotspot anymore. But I mean, if it's 10, you're looking at most of it. It'd have to be a short video. If it's an 8-minute video, I could probably get it up in a couple of hours. But if we wait, if it's 20 or 30-minute video, it's going to be all night trying to get up at 5 gigs going up. Somebody gave you another super chat.
Yeah, Jeff again. Thank you,
appreciate
Jeff.
That, Jeff.
We do.
Giving us some dinner money.
You. Yes, that'll give us some food money for our next trip here. So we appreciate that. Thank you very much.
So anyway, I just got here. This is actually my studio that I edit, and you can't see it because all the equipment's over here. So this is actually one of our
/ bedroom /
So I've got a counter built here that we got went to a cabinet store one day and was in there, and I was like, I can make this into a desk. And I got a place to put all my stuff in. And
well, it was from the house that we used to in Yorba Linda.
Well,
it had that office, and that's what you said. You wanted something like that.
So really where I'm sitting at here is where like a dishwasher would be, or you put your sink or whatever in this. There's a hole here. It sits up a little higher than what a normal desk would be. Well, that's what she wanted to do. She didn't want to. Normally we bring the big barrel. We have a Jack Daniel's big barrel still in the house here that was going to go to the shop someday, and it never made it there. And so we set the computer on that. Well, then we sit in those wooden chairs, which kills our back and everything else. So she said, why don't we just sit in the office chairs? Because I brought my we got another office chair so we can sit over there and have nice chairs. And then my old chair I brought back that we had over there, my Cardinal one.
There you go.
So I'm gonna buy another new one for in here because I got these off of Temu and they were like $70. And these are the nicest chairs I've ever seen for $70. They're supposed to be gamer chairs. So the one they don't have these anymore. They have some other ones, but I don't want to order it because we'll be gone. But while we're gone, I'll order it about a week before we come back. And that way I have me a new chair and throw that one away. Take off my Cardinal thing and throw the rest of the damn chair away. It's all the leather.
Falling apart.
The pleathers all came off the chair.
Yeah, it almost feels like it's suede now. It's still leather. All the leather.
And the shock is broke on the bottom. You can't raise it up anymore. It's at the bottom, and so you sit lower. So I have a pillow on it to sit up a little higher. So I want to get that, and so that's something I want to get when we get back. But I mean, I couldn't believe some of the junk I bought from Chemo. I never really bought anything from them, and somebody was telling me they had some good stuff, and some of the stuff we've gotten is just junk. And but the shares was a great deal. They actually came out of Fontana, California.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even.
The funny thing was, we ordered two, so we ordered them together, and one came one day, and one came like 3 days later. Like one came on Saturday, and the next one came on Monday, and it was the day we were leaving to go to our daughter. So Jim had to come over and pick it up for us. It's just crazy. $90. Whoops, what did that say? Jen said $90 since I have been here. Very nice. Oh, I guess from all the money that Jeff has given us tonight, which we appreciate very much. My wife and I both love your chats and have a good night, you too. Thanks. And there's Jeff. He says, yay. Can you verify that you received my email? Let me look. And Jen says, yep. Alrighty. So he should have sent it to contact us. So you look at that one. I guess I can look at this one. So you can wrap it up and I'll look.
But you still got things on there. Jeff says. Jeff said something.
Jen. He is. No, I didn't want to do that. I want my email. Email. There we go.
We have that much trouble. I can't open it up. It says there's some emails there. Randolph?
I don't know. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's probably Randolph.
Yes, that's him. CVMA. Yes, I got it. So I'll text you.
You're good there.
Yes.
So what you do there is you text us. Do not call us. Because that phone, that visible phone, it records the phone number. I mean, it records the message, but it doesn't give us the message right away. Sometimes I got a bunch of them in Daytona and didn't get them until we got home. So so if you text, it comes right up. So you text us and say, hey, it's Randolph. I'm down here in Eureka Springs.
Bikes Blues BBQ.
What do you guys got going today? And then we can tell you. Or we can talk on the phone. If we know you're calling, we can answer it. But a lot of times the phones are in the back of the bike or whatever. We don't always I don't like to normally, we don't have a phone charger on this one. So we normally will have our phones in tour pack because I've seen too many phones come flying out of people's pockets driving down the highway.
Yeah. Alrighty. So you done?
Getting close. Tell Neil to go to church.
Just say goodnight.
Say goodnight. What do we got? So there's our excitement. Watch Monday night's video. It's coming up. So it'll be up at a normal time. Tam will be on again to answer any questions or comments or anything good about that. So you can do that. And everybody be nice to each other. And hopefully everybody enjoyed it tonight. I didn't get too big a rant anywhere. Try to give you, I was going to go over some of the stuff going on at Bikes Blues and BBQ and also at Ocean City. I got a bunch of stuff. I'll be posting it on our Facebook pages. Those will all be on our Bob and Tam one. So if you're on the Sturgis one, you won't find anything but Sturgis stuff on there. I don't put anything on there but Sturgis. So you can come on the Bob and Tams and you can see some of the flyers and stuff that we're putting up. We're gonna hit some of the bars and stuff over there, some of the nightlife, try to get some of that in. We're not staying out late. You're not gonna see us out there at midnight running around. They said there's already been a bunch of motorcycle wrecks already. I don't know if that's true or not. I didn't Google anything yet. They said there might be some DUI checkpoints, and that's pretty much anywhere you go. Most places have, Sturgis actually the week before, it was 4th of July weekend, they had checkpoints on the highway. It wasn't Sturgis, it was the state police had it.
Yeah. because there was some people coming back we went to watch fireworks with. And when they got back into the town, they were like,
They passed up the exit.
Yeah.
And they went to the next exit. There was nobody there. And so
Joe.
You always got to kind of keep track of that, Google stuff and see if there's any out there. And because if you're drinking, you don't want to get pulled over. And sometimes like that, they're pulling everybody over. So it's not like they're
just
they're
checking
picking
everybody.
on you.
Yeah, they're just checking everybody.
They're talking to you, see if you smell like alcohol and things like that. Don't drink and, well, if you're riding a motorcycle, most people probably don't drink and ride.
Shouldn't.
It'd be hard to do, but I guess you could. And so, yeah, don't drink too much. Eat a lot of food if you're drinking so you don't get affected. They got the boardwalk parade. I don't think we'll probably be in it this year. Maybe we'll go down there and film some of that, but I don't think we'll ride it. We did it last year. Donna did it. I don't think it costs very much to do. But it's kind of neat to ride down the boardwalk.
Anything.
I mean, you had to go register, though. I remember we registered that day. And so we probably won't do that, but we'll probably be down there to see it. We're not doing any of the concerts. So you don't really looking at us for any concerts down there. Well, actually, Monday or Wednesday night's free. I think it's Buck Cherry or something. Jasmine Kane, I think, is playing Wednesday, and it's free for anybody that's down there on Wednesday night. Normally, Chase does that. He's the promoter that's doing it. He's been answering people. Not everybody's got their wristbands. If you didn't get your wristbands, you can get it at Will Call. Will Call will be open as soon as you get down there. They open a couple days early, so they'll be open the first of the week. So you can get your wristband if you didn't get it. And people are like, well, I wanted it before. What's the difference? You're going to go down there anyway. The Will Call line's not that long. When we got bracelets a couple years ago, we had to stand in a line. There was like a person in front of us. It wasn't like, and we got it like on Wednesday or Thursday, so it wasn't the end of the world.
Give us another super sticker.
There you go. Thank you. You must have been playing them.
Did you win those buffaloes again? Did you hit them buffaloes?
Gambling again.
I don't know.
And so yeah, appreciate that. And that all helps out a lot. And especially right now, it's been really slow with videos for this year. We did really good for last month, and for July and August on YouTube, we did really well. We had a lot of good views, and we actually generated some money, which is going to kind of help with next year since we don't have all this. That's kind of why I booked all these different hotels, because we do have a little bit of extra money, but I'd like to use some of that money for the veteran builds too, so we can get that going. And we're still trying to get all that going. She's figured out getting a 501c is a big mess, trying to get all that paperwork and all that.
I would rather just pay somebody to do it, because I'm afraid if I click the wrong box or say the wrong thing, or I don't know, it's a lot. I've been looking and searching, and he says, just find somebody else's and copy it. You can't. What it wants you to do is there's all these LegalZoom and Flash Docs and Swift Docs, and I don't know.
Did you say hi to GK Writers?
Yeah, I did. I was going to. Hi, GK Writers. I brought it up. But anyway, so yeah, it's a lot of work. I would just rather pay the money and have somebody else do it. That way I know it's done right. They can mess with it all. I don't have to have a rush job. I want to charge almost twice as much if you want it done within like a week. And it's like, I don't need it.
We don't. We were hoping to maybe get this done by the first of the year. Yes. Because by the time I got to get my bike all fixed and get all the things, get the garage finished, getting it all set up and ready to go. And then once I kind of go through my bike, actually right across the street when I was over there, he said he might be interested in helping me work on the bikes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he said I'd be interested in doing that, helping the vets. So that'd be kind of neat having somebody else over there to kind of help out a little bit.
Jim would too.
And so that's some things that we want to do, and I'm hoping that it gets going and it works out. 2 reasons. One, it gives us other content to when it's slow like this, you'd be seeing us working on bikes and talking about them and buying them and getting them and fixing them up and giving them away. And then we'd have the rallies to still do. So
that will give us something to do in between times. It'd be fun more.
That's right. So that, I guess we'll leave it right here.
So thanks for hanging out with us today. Hope you enjoyed the video. We love all you guys. Love hanging out with you guys. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Share us with your family and friends. Give us a big thumbs up. Ring that bell for notifications. Hopefully we'll see you in Ocean City or Bikes Blues BBQ.
And you got your premiere tomorrow night?
That's right.
You'll be there.
I'll be there.
To answer any of your questions. I'm usually there too. So sometimes some of the answers are me, but most of the time she's doing it. She keeps up with it pretty good. And so I let her kind of take care of all that.
So we'll see you tomorrow night.
There you go. We'll turn it off.
Bye.
Bye from Arizona at 100 and probably it's still 100 degrees over.
108.
Yeah. So it's just as hot as it was when we started.
There you go.
Didn't cool down.
Nope.
It's not.
Feels like 108. Oh, it's 107. It just went down.
Oh, holy smokes.
There you go. Now we can go outside.
There you go. We cleaned the back patio off today.
Yes.
Has been cleaned off probably in 2 years.
It was not on my agenda of things to do today, so.
Aren't you happy?
It's going to be dirty when we get back in a month.
Won't be that bad. Won't be that bad. Most of the trees, the leaves are off now.
We'll see. Bye.
One more click.